hard-fought one-point wins over Waterloo, Skydome in Toronto. And for the second time in Vanier history, it's the Calgary Dinosaurs and the Western Mustangs for the top prize in Canadian university football. Now, parents often have a dream that their kids will grow up and be university students. Unfortunately, when they make it, they may end up looking like this if their school is lucky enough to make it to the Vanier. The kickoff to Vanier Cup 95, now just over 48 minutes away. Hi everyone, welcome to Skydome for another great afternoon of Canadian university football. We expect to see a pile of points up on the Jumbotron this afternoon. The Dinosaurs and the Mustangs are ranked number 1 and number 2, and boast the best two offenses in the nation. The Mustangs get a rare opportunity to defend the title that they won 1 year ago, as they meet the only team to rival their success here at the Vanier Cup. Between them, the Mustangs and the Dinosaurs have made a total of 15 Vanier Cup appearances. The Mustangs lead the way with 6 national championships, compared to 3 by the Dinosaurs. But in the only head-to-head meeting 10 years ago, Calgary won in a walk over Western 25-6. The road to Vanier in 1995 has not been an easy one for the two best teams in the nation. The Mustangs needed a pair of hard-fought one-point wins over Waterloo and Laurier. Then last week in the Atlantic Bowl, Western survived a late Acadia comeback and hung on for a return trip to Skydome here today. After a 6-2 season in the West, the Dinosaurs were hard-pressed to beat the University of Saskatchewan Huskies in overtime in the Canada West Final. But it was a little easier against the Ottawa GGs in the Churchill Bowl last week. Putting it simply, folks, the Mustangs and the Dinosaurs are back at the Vanier because of outstanding individual talent. And with more on that, Rod Smith and Jamie Bone.
All right, thank you, John. Two outstanding individuals in particular, Jamie. Sean Reed, great running back for Western, and Don Blair, the outstanding slot back for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Let's begin with him. You're an ex-quarterback. It's a quarterback's dream to throw to this guy. What makes him so good?
He really is a quarterback's dream because he has all the attributes that make a great receiver. He has great hands, he has quickness, dynamite speed. But what I like about him, Rod, is that he has dynamite body control. When he goes up for the pass, he gets his body twisted and contorted, but he always seems to come down with it, and his feet are always pointed in the direction of the goal line. He's always a threat to score, and if he's not catching passes, he's returning punts. He averaged 19 yards per punt return this year. Just an explosive player.
That's the key with Don Blair. Always dangerous even after he gets the football. Well, his counterpart, Sean Reed, outstanding running back, great blend of power and speed. Just dynamite when he gets in the open field, but can break tackles as well.
And when you talk to anybody at the University of Western Ontario about Sean Reed, two words come to mind. They say work habits. Nobody in that football team works harder than Sean Reed. He's 6 feet, 210 pounds, bench presses 410 pounds, runs a 4.5 40. But what I think makes him special is he's one of those backs that just prior to contact, he accelerates, and that's why he's able to break so many tackles.
And he certainly demonstrated his prowess last week, as we see in the Atlantic Bowl. 5 touchdowns. That just essentially destroyed the Axemen. Any chance at all they had of winning that game and moving on.
And you also have to be aware of him coming out of the backfield because he's also a very efficient pass receiver, having 22 receptions this year.
Well, Sean Reed lost out in the voting for the Heck Crichton Trophy to Don Blair, but they both agree on the most important trophy. That'll be decided on the field today. Speaking of the field, let's head now to the Calgary sideline and join Leif Pedersen.
Well, thanks very much, gentlemen. You know, you touched on Don Blair, but I think you have to look at the quarterback that throws him all those great passes, Jason Assen. You know, when I analyze a young quarterback, I look at one thing. Does he or doesn't he beat himself? Well, clearly in Jason Assen's case, he doesn't. 20 touchdowns on the season and only 7 interceptions. And, you know, as his receivers tell me, he throws all the balls so well, puts a lot of airtime on the long ones, throws the hooks and outs with a lot of zip on it, and his backs like the touch that he gives them out of the backfield. He's got the whole package. Now, working on the Western sidelines today is a young fellow that seems to fit in nicely with this university crowd, Darren Detition.
Hey, thanks very much, Leif. When you're talking the complete package, you're talking number 9 for the Western Mustangs, Warren Goldie. As a starter, he is 21-1. But guess what? It gets even better in the playoffs. He's never lost a playoff game. He is the perfect 7-0, 16 touchdown passes. This year, he's completing 58% of those passes in the postseason. He likes the pressure. He likes the big game, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. John?
You're absolutely correct, and the University of Western Ontario Mustangs get a rare chance for the double Vanier this afternoon. 3 of the 4 starting receivers for Western, Sandy McGregor, Stuart Beek, and Tom McConnell, play their last game for the team.
I'll be very nervous. It's especially, you know, it's my last game I know is a championship game. I don't know. It'll be kind of an odd feeling knowing that, you know, I've been playing football since I've been 14 years old. So this is my 12th season playing, and knowing that it's all come down to this, you know. This is the culmination of 12 years of effort just for this one game.
Coming up live from Skydome, Calgary and Western getting ready for the 31st Vanier Cup. A few more faces in the crowd. Parents watching from coast to coast in Canada today might just recognize if they look closely enough. The Mustangs and the Dinosaurs continue preparations for their second Vanier Cup showdown. The kickoff now at 41 minutes and counting. Both teams needed superb efforts in the playoffs to make it here today. Both faced elimination in crucial situations late in the game and battled back with big plays just to survive. With more on the big play guys, Rod and Jamie.
No question, the big play for Calgary in the playoffs was a big surprise in the dying seconds 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan.
And you know, Rod, one of the gutsiest calls I think I've ever seen. Third down and short, you think you're going to run the ball to Chris Lewis off tackle, or maybe even throw the short pass to Don Blair. But what does Jason Assen do? No, this guy has ice water running through his veins. He drops back and throws a long bomb.
And that set up the tying field goal that forced overtime. This is the ball game right here. If they don't get a yard, they lose.
I'm working on the same side as Don Blair, and the corner was sort of cheating off of me and almost like a double coverage on Donnie. And so I thought that if Jason would have, you know, pumped on the ball, then that might have given me the edge to get a step on him.
There wasn't much time to think about it. It was kind of a now or never type thing. We just threw it out.
Assen will pass.
The idea of the play came from Brett. Brett had originally noticed that they were kind of peeking a little bit and watching for Don Blair.
I figured at the end of a game like that, if they weren't going to be expecting it at any time, it would have been on a 3rd and short, because they probably would have figured we were going for just the first down.
You think about plays like that when you're young, you imagine all these plays and actually doing it and it coming true, and I mean, it's just amazing.
Now, the Western Mustangs needed a number of big plays to get this far. I think the biggest, though, trailing Waterloo at one point 21-3, Jamie. This big play helped complete the comeback.
And when you need big plays, you have to go to your money people. And, of course, Warren Gold, he goes to his money man, the all-Canadian tight end, Stuart Beek. They run tight end drag, and now Beek looks like he's going to take it out of bounds. But no, he cuts it upfield for a big gain.
And a big gain that helped set up the winning touchdown.
There were, I think, 42 or 43 seconds to go out. We had no timeouts. And my thoughts were that we had a chance, but we have to have a couple of big plays.
I guess you don't really get nervous. You do in a way, but really you know that you can only be a winner if you do it. If you're a loser, you really people expect you to do it.
Just came across the field, your normal crossing route, and I think maybe their DB was probably expecting me to run out of bounds to stop the clock.
Stu came towards our bench and started vertical up the field in front of us and was being leveraged by a defender from the inside, and our entire bench and coaching staff were yelling, get out of bounds to stop the clock. And Stu, rather than getting out of bounds, feinted to the outside and then came back inside and beat the tackler.
And then just cut back inside, and there was no one there for about, I guess, about 30 yards. Tom McConnell made a good block in front of me and ran as far as I could.
I said at that point in time, that, plays don't make players, players make plays. And Stuart and Warren made a play.
Teams here to Skydome this afternoon. Most members of the Calgary Dinosaurs will have another chance at the Vanier if things don't quite work out this afternoon. Just 2 fifth-year seniors will play their final game today. Wide receiver Kevin Klein and quarterback Jason Assen.
To be here this long and work this hard, as all student athletes, I think, know how tough it is to balance. To win a Vanier Cup would just be the best, with this group of guys, I think we feel really close. We're a close-knit group, and to win it with these guys would just be the best.
Coming up, Western and Calgary, the top 2 teams in the country, getting ready for a showdown at the 31st Vanier Cup. Welcome back to Skydome. Both Western and Calgary have staked their football reputations on great offensive teams over the years. The Mustangs have graduated great players like Greg and Blake Marshall, Dave Sapungis and Tyrone Williams. The Dinosaurs Hall of Fame includes Tim Petros, Greg Babbitt, and Bob Torrance. And in 1995, the great offensive traditions continue at both schools. Look at these numbers. Calgary, 39 points a game. Western, 220 yards rushing. Dinosaurs, almost 500 total yards per game. Western, 447. Terrific offensive totals. Rod?
Well, John, terrific offenses, but balanced offenses as well, Jamie. Look at Calgary. You might think, stop Don Blair and you stop the offense. That is anything but the truth. They can kill you in other ways.
They can kill you in other ways. If you take away Don Blair and that receiving core, they can still beat you with their tailback, Chris Lewis.
And that's 40 points a game they had during the regular season. Here is a look at how the Dino O worked this year.
Calgary aligned in a double slot I formation with slot back Don Blair on the left-hand side. Calgary is a team that likes to run sprint out pass, and when they do so, they try to seal the corner with the fullback and also Don Blair. This looks like it's sprint out pass, but in fact, this is bootleg. Blair is not blocking at all. He is going to slide underneath the coverage, and when he gets a little bit deeper, he takes a look and he reads the safety. He's checking to see whether the safety is coming across flat or whether he has a deeper angle. He takes a look at the safety. He realizes he's coming across flat. His read now is to take it deep. Jason Aston reads this as well and throws it to the deepest part of the end zone for 6.
Don starts on the play side and just weaves his way through the linebackers and finds the hole on the backside. And that plays really worked well for us this year. And we have a read on it that if the safety comes up to play him, he'll go in behind the safety. So it really works well for us because we have more than one option.
Now let's take a look at Calgary's best running play. They like to run the power toss to tailback Chris Lewis. They line him up in the I formation. They reverse pivot and give him the ball. Now the first key block is by Ryan Carruthers. He kicks out primary contain. The second key block is by the fullback Gene Stahl. He gets his shoulders square when he gets through the line of scrimmage, and now he looks inside to seal the scrape linebacker. He comes in, blocks that scrape linebacker, and Lewis has a huge hole in which to get into the end zone. If Calgary has those kind of holes today for Lewis to run through, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Mustangs.
Toss is working really well. My fullback, Gene Stahl, has become an excellent blocker, and our O-line was fired up, and they were getting people cut off so I could get to the outside really well.
And just like Don Blair is not the only part of Calgary's offensive machine, same is true for Sean Reed and Western. You got to stop Sean Reed, but the Mustangs have other ways they can beat you.
Well, Western has a multi-dimensional offense. You take away Sean Reed, and quarterback Warren Goldie will throw it to a multitude of talented receivers.
And that never showed so well than last week in the Atlantic Bowl.
From this low-angle view, Sean Reed lines up 7 yards deep in the backfield, and they run the toss play to him to get the ball outside. Now, Sean Reed right now is looking to see whether or not they can seal the corner. He sees that the corner gets sealed by a good block from the tight end. Now he gets his shoulders square, and he reads whether or not the defenders have over-pursued. He has a choice to make. Do I split him, or do I cut it back inside? He has such great feet that he realizes I can cut this back inside. Now he's off to the races. This is the play that enabled Sean Reed to score 5 touchdowns a week ago in the Atlantic Bowl.
You know what's coming on defense. They know what's coming. They just say, okay, here we come with our own line, with our fullback, with the tailback. It's our guys against yours. You can't stop. And Greg Marshall, has confidence in us, so he likes to call that play a lot, especially in trickle down.
In the passing game the last few weeks, Warren Goldie likes to go to a route they call dig. They take the slot back from the left, and he's the first read. He's the short receiver. Then they take the All-Canadian tight end Stuart Peak, and they run him inside. He's the second read. The third read is the in by the wide receiver, and Warren Goldie hits him and gets a key block downfield, and he's going to score a touchdown. If Warren Goldie has that kind of time to deliver passes today, he could have a huge afternoon.
We hit it in the Acadia game for a touchdown. And then later in the game, we needed, after I got tackled, trying to run a boot naked, we came back to it where Reeder will just run straight down the sideline on the same side that Sandy's running what we call the dig route, the in. And no one bothered covering him, and I just had to throw it out there. That seems to be the money play at the moment.
And all that sounds like bad news for both defensive units here this afternoon. First, a look at what the Calgary defense must do to contain quarterback Warren Goldie and shut down running back Sean Reed.
And they run the toss. Sean Reed, right side again. Has 5, has a first down. Could be gone. 40. At the 20. He is gone. Touchdown, Western Mustangs.
I mean, he's a very fast running back, and he doesn't. He's not easily tackled, and he likes to get to the outside, you know. And if we can get them at the point of attack, I think we'll do all right against him. But we also have to face the fact that he's going to get some yardage on us, and he'll probably get himself in the end zone a couple times as well.
They don't have a weakness on offense. Their quarterback throws the ball very well. He has a very, very strong arm. They've got 2 outstanding receivers, great tight end, 2 running backs. So they're very, very talented, and we're going to have our hands full. There's no question about it.
Well, I don't think there's any question you don't get to a Vanier Cup without having a pretty good defense. And joining us now is Brian Towers, the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan. Brian, I guess the obvious question is, you know, how do you control Sean Reed? I don't think you're going to stop him, but how do you control him?
Well, they've got to get real good run support out of their secondary, first of all, not let them get outside. But Calgary's got a real active front 7, and they can get up the field, and they've played the run pretty well all year, so it'll be interesting.
You know, on the other hand, Western, I think, is going to have their hands full this afternoon. Everybody talks about Don Blair. He's a terrific receiver. Can you shut him down, or do you just try and make sure he doesn't make the big play against you?
I don't think you can shut him out totally. Don's going to catch the ball. You know, he's going to get 8 or 9 catches. What you really have to do is make sure that you tackle him after he catches the ball, and don't let him run all over the field. Manitoba did a really good job of taking him out of the game early in the season, and other people like Chris Lewis and Kevin Klein came up and accounted for about 400 yards of offense. So you really just have to limit Don, and if you pay too much attention to him, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, good point. I've seen him beat double coverage all year long, and the Western Mustangs are going on defense. With more for that, here's John Wells.
No doubt about it. Aston and Heck Crichton Trophy winner Don Blair have been a terrific combination for the last 3 years in Calgary. The Western defense must also contend with running back Chris Lewis, as Brian mentioned. Lewis rushed for 200 yards last week against Ottawa.
Aston has good time. He's got Blair. Blair makes the move. He's got a first down. Now he looks for the end zone, and he finds it. What a move at the 7 by Don Blair.
It would be a mistake to spend too much time worrying about Don Blair at the expense of overlooking the rest of the offensive unit. They're an extremely well-coached team. They design their offensive systems to take advantage of teams that want to double team or really focus a lot on Blair. We'll do what we can with him, but I think that we've got to play the Calgary offense straight up.
I wouldn't say it's a weakness, but I think the DBs on the team are the weakest link on our defense, but I think we play very well together, and when it comes down to crunch time, we play really well. And despite what other people think of our defensive secondary, I think we have a very strong group.
The Western Mustangs defense is definitely going to have its hands full today. Now, Western lost only 1 game this year. It was to the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks. Rick Zmitch, their coach, joins me now. Give us your assessment of Western's D.
Well, I think their front 6 are very good, and they'll apply pressure today. I think they may be suspect in the secondary, and I think if they mix up their coverages a bit, they may give Calgary some difficulty.
How do you stop Reed?
Contain him. He'll try to get to the sideline before he cuts upfield. Now, you just can't give him the perimeter.
Well, we look forward to a good football game. Thank you very much for joining us. John?
We're closing in on the kickoff as the Western Ontario cheerleaders and the rest of the cheerleaders assembled here at Skydome this afternoon prepare for Vanier Cup 31. First Vanier Cup on TSN. The Dinosaurs and the Mustangs anxious to kick off now just 24 minutes from now. The championship game is nothing new for the head coaches here this afternoon. Western's Larry Haler has won the Vanier Cup on 2 previous occasions, while Calgary's Peter Connellan has claimed the Cup 3 times, including a win over Haler's Mustangs in 1985.
It's going to be a tough game. I think it always is, and I think it's going to be important for us to be able to stay with them early in the game, because their experience is going to be a factor early, and so we have to try and stay in the game, I think, right from the beginning.
We think that our defense is going to play a whole bunch better. It's going to have to, because this is a great team we're playing. We think their defense is a pretty sound one, too. So it may well be that the defenses have as much to do with the outcome as the shootout that people are talking about.
I think just being around the younger players and the younger coaches, etc., they tend to keep you a little younger maybe, and although I'm only 45 or 46, some days I might feel a little older.
I get excited by the competition, and I've always said that when the competition no longer motivates me and I no longer get that adrenaline rush in the exciting moments or the pregame, it's probably time to stop coaching. I think everyone learns to love that pregame anticipation and excitement.
We've had good, I think, good success over the years, and I think that's really a credit to the rest of our conference. I mean, we have very tough competitive football and all year long, and the games we had this year, a number of them could have gone the other way, and so I think that when you come out of our league, you're generally a pretty worthy team.
We have great players, tremendous coaching staff, a football environment that I think is really unique in Canada, a visibility within the community that, again, I think is unique, loyal fan support day in and day out that the players love being the center of, and it has all of those kinds of positive attributes that coaches, that players, that fans enjoy. And it's a neat little place down here in southwestern Ontario.
Just a wonderful atmosphere here again this afternoon. The Vanier Cup focuses the spotlight on Canadian University football for a week or so every year at this time. For the athletes who get a chance to play university football, it is much more than a game. It is a way of life.
It's unbelievable how much the campus has grown. I remember everybody would be out reading their books and studying out on the hill in the grass, and a lot of memories in McMahon itself. I remember coming down the tunnel, walking out to the stadium. That tunnel, it echoes. Everybody would be yelling and getting pumped up, and that was a really, really special time too. When you just all of a sudden you're going out to play a game and you're getting all ready.
When I was a young boy, on occasion my dad would take me to Western, and tickets were hard to get, and I remember so often standing on the hill outside the stadium because we couldn't get tickets to get in. I could even get emotional talking about playing on the field, but to go out there for the first time, I could just feel the hair on the back of my neck go up. It was just something very special to play on that field with all those people. It was quite a thrill.
I knew in my own heart this is going to be through the post, no doubt. We're going to send this to overtime.
Trainer has it, and that'll be the Vanier Cup with 2 seconds to play.
At that point, you knew this was it, and we didn't do it. And there was a lot of, I guess, a lot of feelings of anger towards yourself, not getting the job done.
Tell when we got the ball back, people started looking over at me on our sideline, and no one would talk, and the guys were walking by, and even as I was going off the field, they just walked by and didn't say anything.
It's up! And good! They've played 29 Vanier Cups before this, but they've never before gone to overtime.
Everybody, I think, at that moment stepped back and just said, you know, we got ourselves here one of the greatest games in Vanier Cup history.
And here he goes, Anthony Lee, touchdown Western.
And now, the two teams who have won and lost the most dramatic games in university football history will compete for the most coveted trophy in Canadian amateur sport, the Vanier Cup.
Now, in our second decade of university sports coverage, TSN proudly presents CIAU football.
Western took charge early in the Atlantic Bowl, but in bizarre fashion. After a Sean Reed fumble endangered a drive, Tom McConnell picked it up and ran it all the way back untouched into the end zone. 7-0 Mustangs. They'd lead 34-14 at the half. And then, faced with Acadia momentum, the Mustangs stole it back in the third quarter. Sean Reed's third touchdown of the day, and a big one, making it Western 41, Acadia 17. But still in the third, the Axemen never said die. Larry Justanis, having a brilliant afternoon, found Grant Davey, who took it in to cut the Western lead to only 10 points heading to the fourth quarter. And in that fourth, the Axemen continued to push the Mustangs to the brink. Justanis taking it in himself here. They once trailed by 27. They were only down by 3 with about 3 minutes to go. But Warren Goldie, in a second and long situation, made the play of the day, finding Sean Reed down at the 35-yard line of Acadia. A huge first down for the Mustangs. And from there, with the clock working against the Axemen, Sean Reed put it away, running to his left and breaking into the end zone untouched to make it Western 55, Acadia 45, the Mustangs making their second straight Vanier Cup appearance. At the Churchill Bowl in Calgary, Ottawa U was an underdog, but the GGs didn't show that in the first quarter. Steve Clark rumbling in to make it GGs 7, Dinos 1. But after tying the game, the Dinos went to work with their key player, Don Blair, taking this Jason Assen pass, running it in to make it Calgary 14-7. And the onslaught continued before the end of the half. Once again, Assen to Blair. A comfortable lead for the Dinos at 22-7. It's all they would need to win this game. They added more with a Chris Lewis touchdown, his third of the day in the fourth quarter. Calgary going away 37-7. The Dinos make their second trip to the Vanier Cup in 3 years.
And that brings us to this moment, the two best university football teams in Canada ready to battle for the Vanier Cup. Coming up, it's the University of Calgary Dinosaurs and the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. We expect a record crowd for the 31st Vanier. And chances are parents who sent their kids off to Western or Calgary for a university education might just spot them under the football war paint here at Skydome this afternoon. Famed Western alumnus Paul Beeston reserves the Blue Jays plush clubhouse for his beloved Mustangs whenever they arrive for the Vanier Cup at Skydome. The Dinosaur Digs are just across the way. And Peter Cannellan's team is not exactly roughing it here at the 7th Indoor Vanier Cup. The story today, the Dinosaurs, a team that lost to Toronto 2 years ago on a blocked field goal with 10 seconds to play against the Western Mustangs. Here once again and looking for a rare double Vanier. Little doubt about which team will be the home team inside Sky Dome today. The University of Western Ontario has a strong contingent here. The Calgary Dinosaurs have a little history on their side. In the only previous meeting against the University of Western Ontario Mustangs, the Dinosaurs were victorious in 1985. It's all right here, folks, at Sky Dome this afternoon. And ready now for the player introductions, here's Rod Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting offense for the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. At center, number 46, Barkley Anderson. At guard, number 67, Sonny Loria. At guard, number 61, Harold Anderson. At tackle, number 51, Andy Kalajczyk. At tackle, number 56, Ben Fairbrother. At slot back, number 36, Ryan Carruthers. At slot back, number 20, Don Blair. At wide receiver, number 32, Tarek Jayusi. At wide receiver, number 90, Kevin Klein. At fullback, number 39, Gene Stahl. At running back, number 37, Chris Lewis. And at quarterback for the Dinos, number 16, Jason Assen. And here come the rest of the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. The starting offense for the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. At wide receiver, number 13, Tom McConnell. At wide receiver, number 14, Sandy McGregor. Tight end, number 72, Stuart Beek.
Here we go, baby, here we go!
At slot back, number 10, Kevin Foster. At tackle, number 67, Mike Abubekrit. At guard, number 53, Doug Scarlett.
Let's go, baby, let's go!
The center, number 54, Aaron Sussex. At guard, number 51, Sonny Parada.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
At tackle, number 66, Paul Blankhorn. At fullback, number 26, Jason McKibben. At running back, number 25, Sean Reed. And at quarterback for the Mustangs, number 9, Warren Goldie.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rest of the Western Ontario Mustangs. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of our national anthem. Today's singer is provided courtesy of MCA Records and KISS FM. Here's their newest country star, Jason McCoy.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, car chambre se porter le paix, il sait porter la croix, ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
It's kind of nice not to hear the Star-Spangled Banner every once in a while. This one is truly Canadian. Many athletes have had an opportunity to play university football in Canada, thanks in large part to a few who have worked diligently to keep the game alive. As has become a tradition, we dedicate the 31st Vanier Cup to the memory of one of university football's most revered coaches, John P. Metras, University, Western Ontario.
He was football at Western.
I saw John maybe from a different light than a lot of people. John outwardly looked rough and tough, and but John was a very sentimental man. He just loved football, and he really loved those student athletes too. But sometimes it didn't show, and people didn't think that he did feel that way, but you had to get to know John. He was a super individual and a great coach.
He was a great believer that if you were convinced that you could beat the person across from you, that made a big difference. One of his big strengths was his ability to attract people to play for him at Western.
Skydome is ready to rock. The University of Western Ontario Mustangs and the Calgary Dinosaurs. Coming up, Vanier Cup XXX1. And here's Rod Smith.
All right. Thank you very much, John. Not lost on us, the great coaching matchup here. Peter Cannellan, in his 13th season, he has won the Vanier Cup 3 times. And he has faced Larry Haler once before in the Vanier Cup in 1985. Haler, in his 11th season, has won this twice. Brilliant coaches, Jamie. Calgary won the toss and is elected to kick off. Standing back for the Mustangs, Damian Lowry and Sean Reid, as Brian Malachik gets the 31st Vanier Cup underway. And it is taken by Lowry at his 10-yard line. Runs up the middle, runs into his own man, and is taken down at the 28. And that is where Warren Goldie and the Mustangs offense will go to work. In 1994, Warren Goldie had an excellent game and a day of a lot of offense.
Dynamite offense. Anytime you're throwing for 360 yards in a championship game along with 3 touchdowns, you've had a very productive afternoon, and Warren Goldie certainly did a year ago.
So here's the first drive of the game. Warren Goldie and the Mustangs from their own 28-yard line, first down, play action fake. They will throw right away. Looking over for Stuart Beek, and it's over his head and falls incomplete. Up front for the Western Mustangs, a brand new offensive line this year. Sonny Parada, however, at least played. He started in the Vanier Cup last year.
And a very experienced group of backs and receivers. Sean Reid, of course, the MVP of the Ontario Conference in this game a year ago, along with All-Canadian Stuart Beek.
Second down, 10 to go, Western. The backfield clear as Goldie will be passing again, rolling to his right. And he's looking 20 yards downfield. Good coverage. No good. Intended for Sammy McGregor.
Just dynamite coverage by Calgary. Patrick Hardy, number 38. Calgary playing zone defense. Hardy, the short man in front. A pass that Warren Goldie probably should not have thrown. You can see Hardy has position all the way. A good job by McGregor to actually stop the interception.
Patrick Hardy, a conference all-star, and a great interception, valuable one, against Saskatchewan 2 weeks ago when the Huskies had the lead. Helped the Dinos get back into that game and win it.
You know, Calgary don't have many ex-junior players playing on their football team, but Patrick Hardy is one of them. He played with the Okanagan Sun, and he has 4 interceptions this season and has very, very quick feet.
A substitution for Western in a punting situation here, faced with 3rd down.
This is not a good start off for the Mustangs. They have been charged a timeout because they were late substituting players, and the official gave them the timeout. Garrett McBride now runs back off the field. He is the kicker. Number 5, Larry Haler, cannot like this right away.
It'll be interesting, Jamie, to see how Western decides to approach punting. 2 weeks ago, Saskatchewan kicked it away from Don Blair because he is so dangerous with that ball. I know Western would like to give it a try if Garrett McBride can keep it away from him.
And I'm sure that's what Larry Haler's telling him right now. He said, under no circumstances are you to kick that ball to Don Blair. Now, I'm surprised at Calgary. They wouldn't line up J.U.C. and also Blair, put them in an eye until the ball is snapped, and then split them so that Garrett McBride does not really have a choice of who he's going to kick to. Because, you know, when he sees Blair back there. He's going to kick away from him, and they're going to try and kick it out of bounds.
CIAU is no slouch. Blair, though, is so dangerous. McBride with a nearly 35-yard per kick average, but I think on this day, accuracy could be more important. Even in punting, the snap bounces to McBride, gets it away, and he is kicking it to CIAU. Away from Don Blair. CIAU at his 45. And he picks up about 7 yards on the return. So good field position for the Dinos as they set to try to move the football for the first time of this game. Jason Assen leading the way. Assen played in the '93 Vanier Cup, filling in for John Kalin.
And actually did a great job when he came in, because Kalin was the starter. He was 6 of 12, 76 yards, but he was the reason they got that rally started again late in the third quarter.
Calgary came back in that to within 3 points and that blocked field goal.
And look at those great numbers this year. 25 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. That's just great.
And Assen, play action fake as well. And looks deep for Don Blair right away. And Blair had it, and he dropped it.
And you know, Rod, that is the play that we showed in the pregame, how they fake that sprint out to the right, and then they throw back, and then Don Blair reads the safety, and he saw Hughes come across flat. He tried to take it deep. Ball's a little bit underthrown. Now Hughes can get back in there and try and recover. Gets that left hand in there and strips the ball. That's uncharacteristic of Don Blair not to make that catch.
In the Canada West Championship 2 weeks ago, Blair wasn't a factor till later in that game. Larry Haler, perhaps wondering if Calgary would approach it differently and go to Blair later in that ball game and set up some decoys. But
well, the whole thing when you're trying to play zone defense, as Western was there, is that you can never allow anybody to get behind you.
Second down, 10 to go. Assen will be passing again and looks over, and a great pop at the 40-yard line of the Mustangs. No good. Kevin Klein really rocked by Patrice Denis in that play.
And Kevin Klein still down on the field.
Klein missed several games this season with injury, and it does not look good for him right now.
Yeah, good protection back here. This ball is just thrown a little bit high. See Klein off his fingertips, and now he gets crunched in there by Anthony Lane and Patrice Denis. And as always, whenever anybody is down on the ground like that, and it looks like they have problems, they are very, very careful in what they do.
Some early concerns, Peter Cannellan, but remember he has number 18, Brett Campbell, who came off the bench against Saskatchewan 2 weeks ago.
Now ball's tipped, and Anthony Lane, the corner, comes in and hits him right there, and you see how his head kind of goes up sideways on Anthony Lane after Patrice Denis drives him into him.
Klein had just returned from injury a couple of weeks ago. Campbell was the one who caught the touchdown pass that brought them close, and then the next pass that set up the field goal to tie it and force overtime.
Kevin Klein, one of the select group that played that 1993 Vanier Cup. Back here for his second appearance. Another look at the reverse angle. It's Patrice Denis, the linebacker, comes in and hits him and drives him right into Anthony Lane's shoulder pads, and you can see his neck kind of turns sideways.
And the most dangerous of football injuries around the neck area. Neck buckled a little bit.
Peter Cannellan concerned, of course.
Been down for a considerable amount of time now. Encouraging that he is sitting up, however, and will be getting to his feet.
That's a great sign. That's great.
Kevin Klein, as you see, can be very valuable for the Dinos, and they're hoping, of course, that he'll be back into this football game.
Let's go for cover!
It sets up 3rd and 10 with that incompletion, and Brian Malashik will be getting it away for Calgary, standing at his 38. Nice driving spiral low to Anthony Lane, and out of bounds at about the 36, 37-yard line of the Western Mustangs. They'll take over again, mark at the 35.
Well, it looks right now that Calgary seems to be just as concerned about Western's return unit. I'm not really sure why. Western's only averaging about 7 yards per return compared to Calgary's 15.
The defense for the University of Calgary Dinosaurs, the veteran Rob Richards, who was a nominee and a runner-up for the J.P. Metras Trophy as top lineman in the country. John Colavini, watch him today play a very key role among those Dino linebackers.
And an experienced group of secondary people, big, strong. They come up hard in the run. Greg Heisey and Dan Jeremiah here in '93.
First down, And the Mustangs run it and run it well. Jason McKibben right up the middle. That'll be another first down for Western.
Well, this is a play that Western used to love to run before Sean Reed came along. That's the inside trap. And, you know, they felt coming into this game, the Mustangs, that they could take advantage of Calgary's getting off the football. Boom, they get off, they work up the field and went a big hole inside. And a nice job by Jason McKibben.
Mustangs feel they can run trap, but Calgary's too concentrated on Sean Reed outside. And they run it again. And this time it doesn't go for nearly as much yardage. Gain of about 3 yards for Western to set up a 2nd and long.
Well, it's a situation that Western want to get themselves in, is being 2nd down and short, and they'll use the running game to set it up because they can do so many things with play action pass. Everybody is so concerned about Sean Reed and their inside run game. Sean Reed, what a year he has had. Over 1,000 yards rushing. Most valuable player in Ontario.
More like 2nd and 6 for the Mustangs. As Goldie will pass and look for Tom McConnell. He's got him near the first down marker. Depending on the spot, this will be very close.
I think he's just a little bit short here, Rod. You know, Western felt that their corners backed off. They could run quick out, but, you know, both Bob Kidd and Patrick Hardy have closed very well on the football. Top of your screen, McConnell's going to run the quick out. 1, 2, 3. Goldie delivers it. Kidd does a nice job of getting him out of bounds. First gamble of the ball game.
So here we go, 3rd and inches, close to the 50-yard line of the Western Mustangs. Goldie will keep and easily get across to the 50-yard line. More than enough for a first down. The drive continues for Western Ontario.
And the best thing that Western's offense can do right now is drive and keep Calgary's Don Blair on the sidelines.
The best defense is a good offense, as the saying goes.
That's right.
Western's trying to exercise some of that now. Their 2nd possession, but first real drive of the game at their own 50-yard line. Play action fake. Goldie looking down. Bob Kidd nearly picks it off for Calgary at his own 30-yard line.
And, you know, Bob Kidd is the corner, and Western's trying to run a route where they take 4 receivers and they take them all just straight down the field because they have 3 defensive backs. But the danger in this is that the quarterback has to spy that corner to make sure that he doesn't come off of the wide receiver.
Certainly the best chance for a turnover early in this ball game, in and out of the hands of Bob Kidd. So Western maintains possession at their 50-yard line. 2nd down, 10 to go. The draw to Jason McKibben. He's got some room. He's got a first down. And he's down to the Calgary 45. A gain of 15 yards for McKibben.
And 2nd down and long. Western take a look at Calgary's defense. They know what their tendencies are and what they like to do on 2nd down. They like to do this twist. They like to take these guys out and bring these guys inside. Then they run the trap draw right up the middle. See, they vacate out of there. Now they run the trap draw right up in the middle. Big hole.
First down, and they go to McKibben again, and he powers his way through for another 5 yards. And so far, Jason McKibben has been the much busier back for Western. Yet to see Sean Reed, and I think this is all done by design, Jamie.
It is, because, you know, just Sean Reed, as Don Blair does for his team, can become a decoy as well. Everybody tries to take him away, then they try to run the ball up inside of you. You know, it's so difficult to take away outside run, inside run, off tackle, and plus play action pass. It's impossible to do it. You got to give him something.
2nd down and 5. Western. There's Sean Reed on the tops. Looking outside right. And he picks up about 5 more yards. And a first down again for the Mustangs. The drive continues. The sticks move.
You know, there's a good example, Rod. They've been running the ball inside. Now they pop it outside to Sean Reed, and he gets a really good block by the fullback, Jason McKibben. Gets out front on toss. This is all reach block, and then the uncovered lineman, they pull out as well. Now Sean Reed just kind of reading this, waiting for his fullback to make a block.
And this time they run up the middle again, and McKibben has got lots of room. Rumbling down to the Calgary 11-yard line. McKibben has been carrying the bulk of the load so far in this football game. A gain of 23 yards.
Inside trap. You see Doug Scarlett, he's a trapping guard. He gets a good block, and everybody thinks the ball is outside.
Kevin Foster is in the game for Western. Slot back, number 10. 1st and 10. On the Dino 12. Fumble. And it's picked up again by Sean Reed. There'll be a loss of about 6 yards, 7 yards on the play for the Mustangs. They'll be in a 2nd and long.
And you know, Rod, it's funny. I've seen Western play a few times this year. I've never seen them in this formation yet. Yet when they get down the goal line, they try to run this. Now that looks like it should be pretty simple, but you know, 3 things happen. Mesh, flow, exchange when the quarterback's giving the ball off. Warren Goldie doesn't quite follow it all the way into Sean Reed's stomach, and of course the ball lies in the ground. Sean Reed does a good job of getting back on it.
So the Mustangs pressing for points. 2nd and 16 on the 18-yard line of the Dinos. A long way for a 1st down. Aiming for the touchdown, and they get it. Tom McConnell hauls it in from Warren Goldie, and the Mustangs draw first blood.
And what a nice job by Tom McConnell, the wide receiver, realizing the ball is not really thrown out there right on the money. He slows down a little bit and keeps his body in between the ball and the defender. Warren Goldie gets lots of time here. Straight drop back pass. They have McConnell running the post, Foster doing the out. Now he puts the ball there to McConnell. See how he stops in the air, kind of gets up in the air and he freezes. Turns his shoulder, catches the ball. Nice job.
Garrett McBride puts it through. The extra point is good. And the Western Mustangs off to a good lead early on. They lead the Calgary Dinosaurs in Vanier Cup 31-7-0. It's 7-0 Western. Now let's head down to the Mustang sideline and Darren Letitia.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. Tom McConnell has got the Western Mustangs on the board. How important was it for you guys to score first?
I think to get our offense on track. You know, it's always nice to score the first points of the game, and especially on our 2nd drive. Really, we mixed it up well. Some pass, some good inside run by Jason McKibben. So I think that gives our offense, you know, a little pump for going into the rest of the game.
Let's go to Leif Pedersen.
Well, thank you, Darren. As you may suspect, Kevin Klein has suffered a concussion. He's on the bench right now. The team doctor, Dr. Mawissa, told me they're just going to monitor him for a few minutes, and we may see him back a little later on. Rod?
Thank you, Leif. Tom McConnell got things started in the Atlantic Bowl last week. More bizarre fashion, picking up a fumble, running it in. McBride with a short kickoff off the hands of Ryan Carruthers. At the 35 up to the 37-yard line, the Dinos offense will get things started again.
And that's a smart play by Western. You know, you don't want to have Don Blair touching the ball. He's going to touch it enough on offense. You don't want to give him any more chances.
Scoring drive, 8 plays, 85 yards, and early in this ball game, a good omen for Western to start things off so soon.
And a great mix of plays in there. They ran off tackle, inside trap a couple of times, that outside toss, and of course, they threw the touchdown pass.
1st and 10. Calgary Dinosaurs at the 38-yard line. The handoff. Inside for Chris Lewis. He's got some yardage. Up for about a gain of 7 yards for the Dinos. Offensively for Calgary, Harold Anderson, Ben Fairbrother, they were both in the Vanier Cup in 1993. Very experienced, sound offensive line.
Great groups of backs and receivers as well. Of course, Chris Lewis, the leading rusher in this team. Don Blair, we've said it all sorts of things about him. But they have great quickness with Tarek Jayusi as well.
We'll make that 2nd and very, very short, just inches. That was over 9 yards for Lewis. And he'll run on the toss to get the 1st down and more. Defensively for the Western Mustangs, they're very excellent up front. David Burney, Derek Parks, the veterans there. Burney is an excellent pass rush, looking to put pressure on Jason Assen today. Patrice Denis, a runner-up for the President's Trophy, is the top defensive player in the country.
Same group of secondary here a year ago in the Vanier Cup. Their best, Xavier Lafont, leads his team with 5 interceptions.
Burney in the defense, they only lost 2 starters on that defense. One that played in the 94 Vanier Cup. Lewis again. Calgary's running this football now. Another big gain. About 6 yards for the Dinos.
You know, it's interesting, Rod. Every year we talk about it. Teams that get here to the Vanier Cup, they cannot get here with one dimension, either throwing the ball or just running the ball. You have to be able to mix it up. And Calgary's done a nice job so far as well. They came out throwing. They wanted to see if they would cover Don Blair and respect him. They took that away from him. Now they say, hey, let's run the ball. This guy's got 1,236 yards rushing. He's our big workhorse. Let's let him work a little bit this afternoon.
They say you got to run to set up the pass, but for these teams, sometimes it's the opposite. Running well. Chris Lewis running hard, and another Calgary first down up at the Western 43-yard line.
Near the opening of the show, we talked about that toss, that power toss. They like to run, Calgary, and they get the ball outside in the I formation. Take a look how they pull that whole left side of the line. Andy Kolachek and Sonny Loria. And now Chris Lewis gets a shoulder square. And when he gets a shoulder square coming across the line of scrimmage, now he has options. He can cut left or right.
Tim Hughes in on the tackle for Western. 1st and 10 Calgary. Dinos trying to answer back here in this first quarter. Assen throwing for Don Blair. And beyond his outstretched arms falling down incomplete at the Western 30-yard line.
And you can see how play action pass starts to hold those Western linebackers now, because Chris Lewis starting to establish himself on the ground. Jason Assen taking a look at his plays. They send those plays in by number. You can see the ball just thrown a little bit farther. Jason Assen not off to a good start. 0 and 3 so far. Has failed to complete a pass yet in this football game.
But the Dinos are running it well, as Western did on its touchdown drive just before. They'll go to pass again, looking for that first completion. And it's almost caught off the fingertips of Tarek Jayusi. Took a pop from Xavier Lafont and dropped the football. Would have been a first down, Calgary.
And you know, it's interesting right now. Jason Assen's throwing the ball a little bit high. This is one thing that the receivers don't want to have happen, where they have to go up in the air and then the defensive back can come in and pound him in the back and jar the ball loose. It was way up, bang. That's just a great play by Xavier Lafont to come through the receiver.
5-4! 5-4!
Xavier Lafont missed a few games this year because of a knee injury as well. And worked his way back in the lineup at the end of the season.
The longest kick for Brian Malashik this year was 44 yards. This would be from 50.
He said he hit from 54 in high school, so we'll see.
Gives it a try. Looks close. And he's got it. A 50-yard field goal for Brian Malashik, and a confidence booster on special teams. The Dinos answer back, but it's Western still leading in the first quarter. 7-3. We'll be back. We wouldn't be surprised to see records fall today. This one is a bit of a surprise, though. Brian Malashik, 50 yards, longest field goal in Vanier Cup history. Let's head down to the Calgary sideline.
And Rod, that's the second longest field goal in Calgary Dinosaur history. Brian, I think you must like kicking indoors.
I love it. There's no wind in the dome, so having a great time this week kicking in the Sky Dome. It's better than McMahon Stadium, no wind factors.
Yeah, I think really important to get some points for your offense after that drive, too.
Yeah, we'll start moving the ball a bit more, running it and passing it. I think we'll be ready.
All right, nice kick. All right, Rod.
Thank you, Leaf. Jamie?
You know, Rod, I had a chance to talk to Brian yesterday, and he said, you know, I only hit 2 of my last 9 field goals. I wasn't very confident, but those were in really windy conditions. He said it's great to be kicking inside of the dome.
And even though it's only 3 points compared to Western's 7 on their drive, a huge confidence booster for Calgary, knowing they can hit him from that far. The screen to Jason McKibben, who's had a big day so far. Almost hauled down by Shuchuk. And finally they do get him for a gain of about 4 yards for the Western Mustangs.
And a real good job by the defensive tackle, Brian Shuchuk, because they're trying to run screen, taking advantage of the great pass rush of Rob Richards. He, of course, the Metris nominee from Canada West. Left of your screen, Rob Richards, number 54, comes around the left tackle. Now they run screen, but take a look at Shuchuk, number 65. He gets a hand right now on McGibbon. That stops everything up. That's the reason that play wasn't as successful as they had it designed.
So 2nd and long for Western. Up around their 38-yard line. And Goldie will pass. Pressure on him, and they've got him. Big loss for the Western Mustangs. And Calgary's front 7, led by Rob Richards, the Metris nominee, puts Goldie to the turf.
You know, if Calgary gets 2nd down and long, they like to run this twist around here, and it causes all sorts of problems for Western's offensive line. Goldie gets back. Now they run that little stunt, that little twist. They come off it. Richards comes right up the middle and sacks Warren Goldie. Calgary will do that in 2nd and long every situation today.
And Western expects it too. Their offensive line not doing zone blocking as you'd expect. They do man-to-man, so their offensive linemen have to cross over with Those defensive linemen, when they do that. Here's the punting situation where Garrick McBride close to being blocked by the Dinos, and it goes out of bounds. They keep it away from Don Blair once again out at midfield. Western Mustangs, 3:31 left in the first quarter, leading 7-3.
Needed a good defensive series after letting Western score. You got the sack. Did you turn the tide with that one?
I don't know. They're going to score some points on us today. We understand that. All we got to do is sit back and play defense and do our job.
All right, back up to you guys.
Thank you, Leaf.
Sorry, Rob, but you take a look at Rob Richards. See how he's perspiring in here? That's one of the biggest adjustments players have to make when they've been playing all year outside and it gets cold and they don't perspire as much, they don't get as heated. They come in here and they start to sweat profusely. They have to drink plenty of fluids.
It does get so dry. I remember working the sidelines last year. I was parched at the end of that 50-40 game. And I was trying to sneak a little bit out of the Gatorade bottle there as well.
You know, it's interesting to start this game. Calgary did win the toss and they elected to kick off. And talking to Jason Assen yesterday, and he said that Peter Cannellan wanted his team to have their back to the Jumbotron in the first quarter. He thought it was a big distraction. He thought a lot of our kids have not been here before. We only got one day to practice in here on Friday. So he thought they'd all be looking up there and being entertained by that instead of focusing on the football game.
Jason Assen last week had a great game against the Ottawa UGGs in the Churchill Bowl, 17 for 24, and a couple of touchdown passes as well. It was really no contest for Calgary last week.
And, you know, when I see those kind of numbers, only attempting 24 passes, you know what that tells me right away? His running back must have had a big day, and that's why he's got that kind of completion percentage.
Yeah, Chris Lewis had three touchdowns rushing in that game. The delay of the game caused when Barkley Anderson, the center for the Calgary Dinos, got a rug burn here in the Skydome turf and was bleeding and had to get that right arm wrapped up, his snapping hand.
You know, think about rug burns. It might not hurt him as much today or tomorrow, but 2 days from now, that thing really will sting.
A painful thing. They hand off Chris Lewis, who had that big day against Ottawa U, with a big gain here of about 9 yards for Calgary. That'll be second and short.
You know, we always talk about how great backs always have very good vision, and they keep their head on a swivel, and they're looking for where the daylight is. Chris Lewis does a very good job here. Want to run off tackle here, but look at Lewis. Gets the ball, realizes everybody's over pursued. Offensive lineman come down the line. Now he cuts it back. Forces Tim Hughes, the safety, to come up to make the tackle.
The lone touchdown of the day was via the pass, but we've had a lot of good running so far in this first quarter. 2:48 left in that first quarter of play. And here's some more good running by Chris Lewis. Bulls his way over easily for a first down and then some, down inside the Western 35-yard line.
And you know, Calgary caught Western in a little bit of a game here. They had David Burney. He just shot the gap. The bottom of your screen tries to shoot inside and disrupt it, but no, they're outside. Now the big hole is created because he's deep in the backfield. Lewis sees that, cuts it back up the field. Good call by Calgary. And again, the safety has to come up and make the tackle. That's one thing you don't want to have, is your safety making all the tackles. You want your linebackers making those.
First down, the toss to Lewis, and he's caught up. No gain. In fact, maybe a loss of a yard.
And what a nice job by Derek Parks at defensive tackle. You know, the last play we saw how David Burney got deep in the backfield. They have a rule with defensive linemen. When the ball goes away from you, you get as deep as the offensive lineman's heels, and then you sprint down the line of scrimmage and try and cut the running back off at the line of scrimmage. Try to pitch the ball outside here. Watch this pursuit down, 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 down. What a nice job by Derek Parks.
Some fine D by Parks, and a loss for the Dinos of nearly a yard. Second down, about 11. Assen rolling right, looking for CIAU, and he's got him for a first down, Calgary. Tarek CIAU, who averaged nearly 20 yards a catch during the regular season. And another one of those weapons for Jason Assen, in addition to Don Blair.
Well, Western came with a blitz here. They brought in Mike Curtis, number 23, but he took the wrong angle. He got caught inside. That allowed Assen to get free outside, have a clear view to Tarek CIAU. CIAU's a very fast guy. He's the second in high school in Alberta in 200 meters, so he's fast.
And this time they run the draw to Gene Stahl up the middle for more yardage and close to another Calgary first down. The Dinos are driving.
Well, now Calgary seems to have their offense in sync, and you know, we talk a lot about Chris Lewis, but Gene Stahl doesn't carry the ball all that much, but you know, he's averaging 7.6 yards per carry, so he certainly has shown that he can carry the football.
Remember, we said each team has other weapons other than Don Blair or Sean Reed. I believe in this quarter we're seeing Now let's go down the Calgary sideline and Leif Pettersson.
You know, gentlemen, against the Saskatchewan team, Calgary went 12 for 12 on third down situations and completed all 12. So if they get into these second and short situations, they do pick up the first down. You know, they can take a gamble because they're so successful on third down plays.
A good point, and we've heard that they've got a field goal kicker here that can kick them far. We've seen it earlier in this game. So either way, Asson is hit. And it falls incomplete. Big pressure by number 65, David Burney, for the Mustangs.
And Jason Asson is down.
What a turn of events this could be. At least he does get up, and it looks like he'll be okay. So good news.
It's a good pass rush, David Burney. Bang, driving him down on that hard surface. Whoa, that's how you take a quarterback down.
The backup is Sasha Blaskovich. He hasn't played much so far in this season. Got in against the University of Alberta, one of the 2 games that Calgary lost this year. And then he went down. They had to go to their 3rd string. Asson, play action fake. Looking at the 5. He's got Don Blair. Touchdown, Calgary Dinos.
Asson grabs his elbow after throwing that touchdown pass, but there's your Heck Crichton Trophy winner for 1995, Don Blair. And the question everybody must be asking is how, oh how can Don Blair be that wide open when he has this kind of reputation? Again, running kind of his own coverage scheme, and now you see Tim Hughes trying to come by. He's not going to make the play. Great body control. Asson finds him. You can't allow him a free release like that or you'll lose the football game. Jason Asson, you can see that elbow. Wow, after didn't even get hit.
Good news, bad news for Calgary by the looks of things. As Malashik puts it through to give the Dinos their first lead of this 31st Vanier Cup. 10-7, but you got to wonder about the health of Jason Asson throwing that touchdown pass and wincing after it.
Well, they talked about Jason Asson who's being banged up all year long, and he's shown great courage and determination to come back week in and week out. And you know, it's the last game of the season. It has to be something awful drastic to keep a quarterback out of a championship football game. So again, play action pass, holds the linebackers a little bit. Now they cross Blair and Carruthers, but Blair's wide open. Ryan Lyons coming across, but no, he needs some help. You got to jam him at the line of scrimmage. There's Jason Asson holding that right arm, his throwing arm. Something popped in there obviously when he threw it, and you can see the kind of pain he's experiencing.
Either popped then or still feeling the pain when David Burney put him to the turf here at Skydome.
Well, the thing that's so serious, like if he's all right, he's going to get up and try and throw some passes here.
6 plays, 54 yards. Impressive drive for Calgary. Really impressive because they ran the ball so well with Chris Lewis, and then finishing it off with that 13-yard touchdown pass to Don Blair, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner for the touchdown.
We talked about how similar these offenses are. And Calgary did the exact same thing that Western did. Ran the inside trap effectively outside. 20th touchdown reception of the season.
Set a CIAU single season record with 17 in the regular season.
And you would think a guy the caliber of Don Blair would not be on your kickoff coverage team. But I thought you had a good point earlier, Rod, when you said to me, hey, it's the last game of the season. You might as well have your best guy on there. And plus, he is the safety, so they don't want any long runs.
And the thing I like about Peter Cannellan, you think he becomes predictable, and then he does things that you would not expect, like that big play we talked about in our pre-game show against Saskatchewan. Here's Damian Lowry again. They keep it away from Sean Reed, and Lowry is down at the 28-yard line. Western will go to work again.
Boy, that's just great coverage and hustle downfield by Calgary's Greg Heisey. It's a good job right here. Kickoff deep to the right of your screen. Damian Lowry takes it on the fly. But Greg Heisey comes in, dives in, makes a great play. Actually, that was Ken Esslinger.
Once again, here's Leif Pettersson.
Hey guys, good news. Jason Asson, a little burner on that hit by David Burney, but he will be back on the next series. So I think the Calgary Dinosaurs breathe a sigh of relief.
A big sigh. On the sidelines now with the defense out there and doing a good job stuffing up the Western run. Very short gain for Jason McKibben and a 2nd and long.
There he is. You can see he's still in pain. He's saying, I can't go. This is not good for Calgary. You mentioned their backup quarterback, Sasha Blaskovic. 50% passer, had 6 touchdowns this season, 3 interceptions, but that was primarily in relief.
Goldie to throw. Short drop. Runs out of the pocket. Looks downfield, and it's no good. Intended for Sean Reed at about the Western 50-yard line.
Good coverage by Greg Heisey. They try to run Sean Reed out on a wheel.
Shoulder pads off, obviously troubled in his throwing elbow.
And this is where you can see he heard it when he was throwing that touchdown pass to Don Blair. Kind of a delayed reaction, and you know the kind of torque that you experience in your elbow when you're really throwing the ball hard.
This was the touchdown pass, and you see him wince in pain from a different angle. That is not looking too good for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Once again, let's head down to the sideline and join Leif Pedersen.
Well, fellas, Jason said he was okay. He went to throw a couple of passes just to loosen up the shoulder, and all of a sudden he found a real bit of pain in the back of the shoulder, so he quickly ran over to Dr. Mawissa and said, look, you better check me out a little bit further. So they lied him down on the table, moved the shoulder around, and all of a sudden now he's back up off the table, warming up with Sasha Blaskovic. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Assen went in. He's kind of laughing and smiling here, so you know, if he's not in too much discomfort, I'm sure he'll be back in the game.
Thanks, Leif. And you saw Blaskovic's numbers, Jamie. Not bad, and he is a 4th-year guy.
Not bad. That's right. They do have experience at that quarterback spot. It's not like he's a freshman going in there into the biggest game of his life.
The Western Mustangs to start the second quarter. Punting. Garrick McBride, and nearly blocked again by the Calgary Dinos. It goes to midfield. And a good return across the 40-yard line for Tarek Jayusi of the Dinos. 27-yard punt, 11-yard return. A lot of pressure by Calgary.
And you know what, Rod? That's pretty good coaching by Calgary. You know, Garrick McBride has struggled so far in this game kicking the football. They come right up the middle with number 76, Garrett Everson. And I think he gets a piece of it. Big left hand.
And Sasha Blaskovic, the backup quarterback, is in for Jason Assen. His first experience of the Vanier Cup. And he passes. And he finds a man. Tarek Jayusi. Could go. Will go. Touchdown, Calgary Dinos. What a debut for Sasha Blaskovic.
Boy, that's the way you want to come in off the bench, that's for sure. He's thrown 6 touchdowns this year, and Larry Haler does not like what he sees so far. We talked about the great speed that Tarek Jayusi has. And he certainly displayed it on that short, quick out.
46-yard touchdown pass from Sasha Blaskovic to Tarek Jayusi to give the Dinos an even bigger lead. They were leading by 3 before that play. This point after could give them a 10-point stretch here early in the second quarter. And they won't get it. The snap was fine, but Brett Campbell bobbled it, and the Mustangs recover.
And you know why, too, right? Jason Assen is also the holder on point after attempts and field goals, so they have a new holder in there, and that's Brett Campbell. And the other thing that's strange about this is that you have a left-footed kicker, so the holder usually, when he's doing it, never used to holding it on that side.
That's the part that struck me, too. How difficult is it holding for a lefty?
It is, actually. It's different because he's probably never had to hold for a left-handed kicker, and he's probably in there because he has very good hands. But tough to get the placement.
And by instinct, Mladic tried to kick it anyway, even though Xavier Lafont had recovered the ball.
Yeah, when you bring a young quarterback into the game, sometimes you say, let's get his confidence up, give him a short pass to complete first of all. I'm sure that Sasha Blaskovic didn't think this was going to happen against their best defensive back, Xavier Lafont. But just look at the acceleration that Jayusi has. Once he gets that ball, he gives a little shoulder dip, then bang around the corner, and he scores. 1, 2, 3 step drop. Now he fires it outside, just doing that little hook in front. And he's thinking, great, I got a completion. Hey, even better, I got a touchdown.
So far, the Calgary Dinos haven't paid for the loss of Jason Assen with that touchdown, but you got to wonder, with that missed convert and a 9-point lead, with a game that could be this close and so much offense, how big a difference 1 point could make at the end of regulation time. 16-7, Calgary Dinos. They had fallen behind 7-0, but answered back. with 16 straight points. And Malashik kicks off for Damian Lowry again, keeping it away from Sean Reed. Great blocking up the middle for Lowry. And a pretty good return up to the Western 37-yard line once again. Here's Leaf.
Thank you, Rod. With Sasha Blaskovich. Now, Jamie Bone indicated maybe the best way for you to win the game was to throw a pass on your very first play and turn into a touchdown. What happened?
I don't know. We just called a quick pass, and Tarek broke it and went all the way, and I was unbelievably happy to see that happen on the first throw.
Not a bad way to have your first play.
No, not at all.
All right, fellas.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's great numbers right there. 100% completions, 1 touchdown, no INTs, 46 yards. Oh.
Jamie Bowen at a great percentage, especially in 1977 Vanier Cup, but that beats his. Hey?
That's right.
100% so far. Jason McKibben. His busy day continues. To the right side, and another good gain for McKibben.
And so critical right now, Rod, for Western not to panic, not to think they have to throw the ball to get back in this football game. Just continue to run your offense. They had good success earlier running the ball off tackle inside, and they sprung Sean Reed outside. And right now, Jason McKibben, the big workhorse, 5 rushes, 63 yards. Impressive afternoon so far for him.
And a throwback to the days when the big back meant everything for Western. The Marshalls and Tim Tyndale. And Sean Reed, more speed outside. He's been the main guy, but not today so far. But he is there. Sean Reed, and a rare carry for the day, moves the sticks up at the Western 50-yard line. First down, Mustangs.
This is why Sean Reed, I think, is such a good back, because there's really not much of a hole here. It's probably about a foot wide, but he manages to sneak right in there and get the first down. Tremendous back, explodes on contact, and works hard to get up the field, keeps his shoulders north-south.
First and 10 on the toss to Reed. Left side, flag on the play. And a short gain around 3-4 yards, and I have a feeling it could be coming back.
Now they're going to call Western here for a legal block. You know, Western's trying to outflank Calgary right now. They bring the tight end over plus the other wide receiver.
John, get the referee's flag.
Holding. Western number 54. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Number 54, Aaron Sussex, called for holding.
Well, here's Aaron Sussex right here. He's the center. He's going to get called for holding when they run that toss. Gets outside, he gets on, and you can see he gets that arm around. Once that arm comes around, the official in the back is going to throw that flag every time.
So first and 20, McKibben. Inside again, gets some of it back, about 5 yards, but it will still set up second and long for Western at the Mustangs' 35-yard line.
And once again, Western trying to run that trap draw again because they know that Calgary like to run that twist.
Lots of rushing in that first quarter, but still pretty close between these two teams so far.
It's almost how you expected this game to really unfold, except that
and the Dinos have that lead, 16-7 here in the second quarter. Goldie on the hitch. Watch for McConnell to throw it for Sandy McGregor. And it could be intercepted. It is by Dan Jeremiah. Brilliantly covered by the Calgary Dinos. Well, the Mustangs open up the bag of tricks, but Calgary is not biting.
Well, Tom McConnell used to be a quarterback when he was in high school at Lucas Secondary School in London. And this is a play we saw them working on yesterday. It's the hitch pitch. McConnell comes back. They throw the ball to him. Now, Jeremiah is a safety. The corner comes up, and they think they've got it beat, but McConnell doesn't see him, and Jeremiah comes underneath here and makes a great pick. Knocks the ball up, keeps his eyes on the football, keeps both feet in. You only need one, but a nice job by Calgary.
The Dinos take over on their 34, running the toss to Chris Lewis. Not much doing for Lewis. Western strings it out nicely to force second and long Calgary.
And this is the kind of situation Western want to try and get Sasha Blaskovich in. Second down and long.
Once again, here's Lee Pedersen.
Thank you, Rod. Dan Jeremiah, big interception. You weren't fooled at all on that play.
No, I saw all the linemen back up as a pass read. Took my reads well that the coach just taught me, and I saw the guy flying down the sidelines, and I went to the ball.
Nice job. Thank you.
We saw Tom McConnell, as Jamie said, working on that yesterday. Didn't work this time. Blaskovich goes to work, and he's got a man, Don Blair. First down, Calgary at the Dinos' 47-yard line.
Boy, nice poise by the young quarterback. They take all the backs. Everybody's going right. Again, it looks like it's going to be sprint out pass, and now it's bootleg action. They pull the right tackle across as the personal escort for the quarterback. Now he just delivers a strike to Don Blair. And see how quick Blair's hands are? Gets the ball. Now he tucks it away instantly. Bang! Right there, because he knows that the defender's going to come up and hit him.
As a result, he does not cough up that football either. They counter to Chris Lewis. More ground for Lewis this time, up near midfield. But 2nd and 3 for Calgary.
And that's the play that made Elio Jeremiah, J.P. Escuerdo, Craig Kittleson, all those great tailbacks at Calgary famous. That's that counter trap that they love to run at UFC.
You mentioned Elio Jeremiah, brother of Dan, who picked off that pass just a few moments ago. The Jeremiah brothers, legendary Calgary Dinos. Lewis, 7 carries, 55 yards for Calgary. 2nd down. They run the counter again. 1st down and more. Chris Lewis down to the Western 36.
Now Chris Lewis lines up in the eye. They pull both guard and tackle. Now the guard kicks out, the tackle pulls through, and Chris Lewis reads the blocks. Guard tackle, tackle kick out, guard pulls through. That's Fairbrother. And boy, what a hole. I mean, you had that whole screen. You didn't see any Western defenders there until Chris Lewis was 10 yards up the field.
Calgary, an excellent job running the football. And so they keep it on the ground. This time Gene Stahl, and has maybe 2 yards, not much more for Calgary. Dinos trying to press for another touchdown here with 9:18 to go in the half. Jason Assen looking on and liking what he sees. Fleischman.
And you can see we talked about how Assen was banged up. He had the other shoulder problem. You see how that one was wrapped up his left shoulder. Now it's his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder.
And he was giving plays to Sasha Blaskovich there. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Calgary on the Mustangs 35. Don Blair has it in the flats and is close to a 1st down. Check that. Brett Campbell in for the injured Kevin Klein. And that will be a 1st down for the Calgary Dinos.
And you know, the story of this game right now is depth. Calgary has dynamite depth. They lost Kevin Klein earlier. Brett Campbell comes in, and now he's contributing to this offense. And of course, new quarterback Sasha Blaskovich replacing the injured Jason Assen. Coming right at you. Throws the quick out. Nice job catching the hands. Boy, he caught the back end of the football. And, you know, they actually have drills where they get receivers to try and do that. But I'm sure that wasn't what he was thinking there. He's just trying to get it and get the 1st down.
It's actually 3rd and inches, not a 1st down. But now it is. Blaskovich keeps it and gets it easy. Across the 25-yard line of the Western Mustangs. They move the sticks. Calgary hoping to move it in the end zone again, already with a 9-point lead. Not a bad start at all for Blaskovich.
Those are great numbers. 3 of 3, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. I'll tell you what, though, Rod, it helps so much when you're a quarterback and you can come into a game, you've got a lead, and you've got a great running game.
Peter Cannellan's had a lot of great quarterbacks, too, over the years. Looks like he has a pretty good one so far in his backup. Blaskovich rolling right. And finding a man, Jayusi, down at the 10-yard line. 1st down again, Calgary.
And Westerners absolutely getting no pressure at all on Sasha Blaskovich. They're trying to bring the inside halfback Ryan Lyons up, but just look at the protection he has. No one in his face, all sorts of time, one-on-one. And we said earlier in this game, if Western came out and tried to play man coverage against Calgary, they're going to lose.
Jason Assen, you see just in behind there, has his equipment back on, his shoulder pads on, looks to be getting ready to go in the game again. Hardly needed right now, however, with the job that Blaskovich is doing. Short gain there for Gene Stahl. It'll be 2nd and long.
Hey, you know, a huge decision for Peter Cannellan whether or not, if Jason Assen's all right to go, whether he should go in, because we've got a guy right now who's hot. You see he's sending in the signals right now. But we saw when Calgary played here in '93, they had no apprehension at all. Kennellan from switching to John Kalin to Jason Assen, and then back to John Kalin again.
And Kalin, a rare athlete, was going both ways that day. He was playing defensive back as well. Rolling left into the end zone, incomplete. And that'll set up a field goal situation. The attempt there for Ryan Carruthers. So Jason Assen is coming in to hold. You remember they missed the convert on that play when Brett Campbell fumbled.
And you know, you sit there and think, and if I was Western's defense right now, I'd be thinking, you know what? Maybe he's all right now. We better just make sure that they don't try any kind of fake here right now, because people might be thinking, hey, he's hurt, he can't throw the ball, all he's going to do is hold it. But this might be an ample opportunity for them to try something like that.
Already Malashik has a field goal of 50 yards, of Vanier Cup record. In the first quarter. Here in the second, he'll be trying basically a chip shot from 16 yards away on the right hash marks. And it's up and through. Second field goal of the day for Malashik, and more points for the Dinos, who now have a lead of 20-7 with 6:43 left in the second quarter. Welcome back to Skydome, the world's greatest entertainment center, and Vanier Cup 31 here on TSN. And it's the Calgary Dinos leading now 19-7. Jason Assen not in that last drive for points, still working on that elbow.
Still, he seems to be wincing every time he seems to want to go through that throwing action.
Mustangs need a good drive here, down by 12 points. Goldie under pressure, and they've got him. Rob Richards, Brian Shuchuk, Greg Clarkson, all in there. Big pressure, Calgary.
And you know what? You can say that is a coverage sack right there. Western's trying to run that real quick bootleg, quick action they had. They had the inside receiver do a 5-yard out. The outside receiver goes 10 yards and out. But Watt says bang, bang. Now it's got to be gone now. It has to be gone now. It's not gone now. They can't hold him that long, that offensive line, because he's only taking a very short drop. But you see Richards getting up there with that left hand, distracted Goldie. Goldie couldn't throw it, and then Richards comes in and makes the sack.
Second down, and about 20 yards to go for Western after that loss of 10. Goldie takes up, rarely runs, and won't get the first down. He fumbles. And I believe Western got the football back, although Greg Heisey was pointing the other way. Another terrible break nearly for Western. We'll be thankful to be in a position to punt this football.
You know, it looked to me like they were trying to run what they call 64 streak, and they didn't have any short receivers, but a good job from the backside coming across, never giving up on the pass rush. You know, the quarterback gets out of the pocket, turns and runs. Don't wait for anybody else to do it. You come up and do it, and Goldie never saw him coming. Garrett Everson, and Western lucky to get that ball back. I think you'll see Calgary come after Garrett McBride once again. They only have one returner back.
He's had 3 punts, and 2 of them, they were almost blocked by the Dinos. More pressure up the middle. They've got it. Don Blair. Touchdown, Calgary. Wow. We talk about Don Blair's value as a pass receiver, as a runner, as a punt returner. Now as a punt blocker?
Don Blair, we talked about, he's the fastest guy in this Calgary Dinosaur defense. He comes from the outside, bottom of your screen. Don Blair just gets around, bang. Not only does he block it, look at this, just kind of scoops it up one hand. Yeah, 6 points. The best player in the CIAU this year.
And why not put him on just about every unit you have? The Calgary Dinos are opening this Vanier Cup wide open now. With the conversion, it is no good. So we go to break. The Calgary Dinos leading big here in the second quarter of the Vanier Cup. The Calgary Dinos have blown this Vanier Cup wide open, leading 26-7 on Don Blair's second touchdown of the day.
And Don Blair on the left of your screen, he's the end man. He gets around and comes in, but does a great job. Look at that. Sells out, but see how he comes down, slams his hands down hard, keeps his feet, and then he just scoops it up for 6 points. I mean, that is so hard to do, and look at it. He makes it look like it's nothing.
And Brian Malashik's convert was good. It looked like he hooked it to the right, but it was indeed good for a 19-point lead for the Calgary Dinos. Western has got to get things going. Sean Reed with his first kick return, and he is stopped just short of the Western 25-yard line. Big pressure on the Mustangs now.
You know, I'll tell you right now, Rod, Western looks like a beaten team right now. That's not to say they're going to lose this football game, but they're walking off the field. They're not hustling down. Calgary, on the other hand, are sprinting down the field and playing real tough football right now.
I talked to Warren Goldie yesterday. I said, I assume because you played in the Vanier Cup this year, you'd probably be a little bit more, or last year, you'd probably be a little more relaxed this year. He said just the opposite. Last year, there was no pressure. This year, he is feeling a little nervous, and he's hurting a bit, too. His left knee is bothering him.
Well, I think, you know, a concern of their coaching staff was we might have had some guys here that were content with winning a national championship, whereas Calgary, on the other hand, were here 2 years ago and did not win.
The handoff to Sean Reed. Short gain up the middle. Let's go down to the Calgary sideline and Leif Pedersen.
All right, Rod, thanks very much. Don Blair, did you see something from your preparation that you might be able to block a punt today?
Well, no, not really. We've been trying it all year, and I just haven't been getting off the ball well enough, and I knew today I was going to get it. I had a dream last night about it, actually. Happened just like that.
Well, now it's the Heck Crichton winner. You're supposed to make these kind of plays, aren't you?
Well, that's what they keep telling me, but I'm just out here playing as hard as I can and enjoying the moment. So hopefully we're rolling right now. We've got to keep it going, though.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
Rod?
Thanks, Leif. Second down and long for Western. 6 yards to go. In their own territory. Over the middle for Stuart Beek. His first catch of the day. And it's a big gain up to the Western 45. First down, Mustangs.
And that's the first pass today for Stuart Beek. He's the all-Canadian tight end. He'll come from the left of your screen across to your right. They bring Sandy McGregor underneath, and then they clear out and they hit Stuart Beek right down the middle. You know, it's funny when the crunch comes, you have to go to your big guys. Your guys have gotten you there and have put in all that time in a great career. What a year he had, 40 receptions, 607 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Stable of excellent receivers. They keep it along the ground for Jason McKibben. Short game this time. Maybe a yard or two. Second and about 8 yards to go for Western.
And you can see Jason McKibben. He's wearing a big knee brace on his leg, and he missed a couple of games at the end of the season. And he had a pulled hamstring, and then he hurt his knee versus Laurier in the Yates Cup game, and it's really been bothering him quite a bit.
Well, I would think if the Mustangs need inspiration, they need only look back 1 year ago when Saskatchewan fell well behind, and even in the fourth quarter down by 20, the Huskies came back. Really caused a nightmare for the Mustangs. The hitch to McConnell. Nowhere to go outside. Goes in. Gets a block. Good gain. McConnell still on his feet. And a first down Western across midfield about the Calgary 49.
That's a nice job by Tom McConnell. You can see he's a veteran receiver. A lot of receivers, when they get this ball, want to try and take it right up the field, but Phil Schnell, number 25 for Calgary, does a real good job. You know, he's waiting right now for his lineman to come out. He knows it coming out. He sees Shell's got the corner. No, wait for the lineman. They pick off Shell, and now he turns it up the field and gets some pretty good yardage.
67, Mike Abomekrik out there making a good block. They go to McKibben again, and he rumbles for a first down and more. Across the 40 down near the 35-yard line of the Calgary Dinos. The Mustangs are on the move. And an injured Dino on the play.
And this is a huge drive. They take guard tackle. They loop him around. A nice job by Jason McKibben. But you can see he is hobbled by that leg. He's just not running with the same kind of authority that he was earlier in this season.
Big day for McKibben. So far this first half, 81 yards rushing.
Well, 10 yards per carry. That's pretty good.
And I've seen a backup linebacker, Rick Tittick, come into the game, number 72, with a man on the field. It is Jody Bednarik, linebacker for Calgary, who replaced another injured linebacker, Mike Nightingale.
Yeah, they've had real problems out there this year. You know, Nightingale, of course, developed some type of respiratory problem prior to the Hardy Cup game and did not play. And then Bednarik came in. He seemed to be just shaken up.
What do you do if you're Warren Goldie and see Bednarik's out of that game and you have a rookie in there? Do you go to the right side?
I think so. I think you try and test him right away.
The 3-minute whistle blows. Jason McKibben. Great afternoon. And there is Rick Tittick, the replacement for Jody Bednarik. at linebacker for Calgary. See what Warren Goldie decides to do with a first down situation. They do toss right. Sean Reed runs out of room. They stretch it out nicely, and a short gain for the Mustangs.
That's a nice job by John Colavini. Really, he is a defensive back, but they line him up as a linebacker. They call him a rover, and he's not all that big, 5'9", 170 pounds, but, you know, he fires right in there and disrupts all the blocking that Western want to try and get going. Forces Sean Reed. You see now he's trailing, trying to trail the play, but, you know, he forced everything outside.
Gain of about 3 or 4 yards for the Mustangs. An impressive drive. First one this quarter with 2:35 to go until halftime. Down by 19 points. Goldie to throw. And finds a man, Tom McConnell, in first down territory near the Calgary 25.
And that's a good throw by Warren Goldie. You know, he just gets back 3 steps and he just fires this one out. It's good coverage by Patrick Hardy. He's their best defensive back. Nice job. 3-step drop. Boom. Just let her go. McConnell, nice job of getting the necessary yardage.
First down, Western Mustangs. From the Dino 26. The toss left to Reed. Hasn't done much today. Looking to get it done now, but they've keyed on him nicely. And once again, short yardage.
And once again, it's John Colavini. He's the guy that's causing Western all sorts of problems right now. He lines up in that rover position. And they bring the tight end across, Mike Wilson. They try to outflank everybody, but he slips underneath. To the right of your screen, you'll see number 11 slip up underneath. Right there. Forces Sean Reed to turn it back inside. Comes off with a block on McGibbon and makes a tackle. I mean, that's just great defense right there.
And Jody Bednarik is back in the ball game, number 71, at linebacker for Calgary. Tiddick comes out. Second down, 6 to go. A long drive for Western. More pressure on Goldie. They've got him again. And that guy again, Metris runner-up Rob Richards.
You know, you may get 1 chance against Rob Richards, but you're not going to get 2. Warren's not going to get allowed to get set here and throw the ball downfield. Nice job by Warren Goldie to hang on to the football, but, you know, your offensive lineman, tough, but you got to block that guy until the whistle goes. You cannot block him, then say, well, the ball's got to be gone by now. You got to stay with this guy.
The longest field goal in 1995 for Garrick McBride is 35 yards. This one will be tried from 33 yards away. This is about the tip of his range. High snap. He's got the distance, and it is good. The Mustangs try to chip away, but they are still down, trailing by 16 points with 1:30 to go until halftime. Up a field goal, now trailing by 16, down to the Mustang sideline, and Darren Detition.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. Joining me now is Liz Hoffman, who is the president of the CIAU. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. What a day for CIAU sport, and what a day for what we're all about, building the spirit of Canada.
Have we found a home for the Vanier Cup here in Skydome?
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is where we have to be, and we're really excited about it. And it's great for all of the athletes in the CIU.
Thank you very much, Liz. Let's go to Leaf now.
All right, Darren, thanks very much. Injury updates from the Calgary sidelines. Kevin Klein, wide receiver with the concussion. Looks like he probably won't come back today. He's still pretty woozy. And, of course, Jason Assen, they're going to examine him again at halftime. He can't really describe exactly what area is bothering him. All the way down the arm, he says he's got shooting pain. And I suspect with a 16-point lead, they may be a little careful on how they play him in light of how well Sasha Blaskovich has played. Fellas?
Thank you, Leaf. And a 1st and 10 for Blaskovich and the Calgary Dinos with a 16-point lead, 26 to 10. Play action fake. Looking to the sidelines and a complete pass for a first down. Brett Campbell. And a bit of a surprise to see him throwing, Stu.
Well, you know, at the beginning of the game, we talked about Jason Assen having ice water in his veins. But you know what? Calgary, I think, are doing the right thing here. You know, a lot of people say, hey, you got a 16-point lead. There's only 1 minute and 30 left in the half. But you know what? They have confidence in this young quarterback. And the other thing is they know that Western has the capabilities. You've got to continue fire that gun all the time. That's just a great catch. And toss by Sasha Blaskovich.
First down, Calgary, 1:23 to go. Campbell again. Completion and up to midfield. And close to another first down for the Dinos. They are on the move. 1:17 to go in the half.
You know, there's a couple of rules in life, Rod. One is never bet against a streak, and the other is never replace a hot quarterback. And Calgary have a hot quarterback now, and Cannellan's going to leave him in the football game.
And they hurry up. The clock ticking away. 1-12, second and short. And they hand off Gene Stahl. And boy, is he stuffed up nicely by the Western front. And it'll still be very close to a first down. It's hard to say if he got it or not.
Well, you think now they're getting close into Malachik's field goal range. They only need another 10 yards or so, and he would be well within his distance.
And he did not get the first down by that spot. Just barely over midfield. Third and short. What do you do here? Just kick it away with the lead? They're calling a timeout to talk about it.
Well, if I know Peter Cannellan, they'll throw the long bomb like they did against Saskatchewan. But I don't think they're going to do that now. I think they'll try and go for it. They've been successful all year long going on third and short, and they have a very good tailback in Chris Lewis. Good blocking back in Gene Stahl. Pretty good numbers, boys. 6 of 7, 100 yards.
Talk about history of good quarterbacks for the Dinos. Greg Vavra won a Vanier Cup in '83, Lou Lawrick in '85, and then Bob Torrance. What a great passer he was. And they won the 1988 national championship over the St. Mary's Huskies.
Yeah, it's incredible. They must have something in the drinking water in Calgary where all those guys come from. Because, boy, all those guys can throw the ball exceptionally well. And so can Jason Assen and Sasha Blaskovich as well.
1 minute exactly left on the clock until halftime, and there you see the distance that they had to go, about a foot away from a first down.
Now, I'm going to go all the way back to 1989. Same situation. Score is a little bit different, but Saskatchewan decided with about a minute left to go for it in third down. They did not make it, and then Western scored just going in at the half. So it can be a big momentum change if Calgary don't get it.
Well, the Mustangs trail by 16, but if they can stall Calgary here, a huge break and maybe more points. It looks like Calgary will have the first down, and the Dinos drive continues, and Calgary now has a good chance at racking up some more points before halftime.
It's that old adage, is it his right foot or his left foot that the official puts down to see whether or not they have the first down? It is his left foot, so he does have the first down just over that hash mark stripe.
That's the system they use, is it?
That's it. If it's right foot, it's not first down.
I just thought, if you're unsure, just put the thing down real fast. Quick pass here for Blaskovich to Jayusi. Lots of yardage. Good speed across the 40-yard line down to the Western 36. And I would say, based on the kicking of Malachik earlier, Calgary's within field goal range at least.
Well, I think Western's backed up against their goal line right now. They run Jayusi outside. But what's a great block by Don Blair, number 20. Bang, kicks out. Lafont, and now Jayusi takes it straight up the field.
They hurry up again, this time looking left. And a completion with a flag on the field in the backfield of the Calgary Dinosaurs. If it's against Western, it's a first down Calgary. I have a feeling it's against the Dinos.
And they are talking to the Western Mustangs, usually offensive holding in the backfield, and they will take them back.
Harold Anderson, number 61, pleading his case for Calgary, but to no avail. It'll come back. And more importantly for Western,
Calgary, number 51, 10-yard penalty, first down over.
And I was going to say more importantly for Western, perhaps out of Malachik's field goal range, but you never know. He hit one from 50. This one would be from 52.
Sorry, Rod, on the left side you see Andy Kolacek gets that left arm across the body.
By contrast, sharp contrast to last week's Atlantic Bowl, where the flag hit the turf all the time. Only 2 penalties so far, 1 for each team in this football game. Blaskovich looking long for Jayusi, and it's overthrown. With 29 seconds to go on the clock.
I'm a little surprised at Calgary trying to go for all of it right there. All they have to do is get about 10 yards further up the field. They might not get the first down, but at least they get into field goal range from Malachik. You want to give yourself a chance at least to score before the half.
And it's 2nd and 20, and I would guess this time that's exactly what the Dinos will do. But as I said about Peter Cannellan, he keeps you guessing. You never know for sure what Calgary's offense is going to try. From the 46-yard line, Blaskovich looks shorter. It's got Jayusi, and he drops the football. just outside the Western 30-yard line, but it falls incomplete, and so will they go for the field goal again? Malashik, of course, is out, and so is Jason Assen, so they will, and this one will be in excess of 52 yards, this attempt.
It's a good job by Mark Castleman, the rover, the linebacker, coming across, and you know, Jayusi sees the ball coming at him, and he also sees number 35 coming at him. He wants to try and get that ball tucked down as quickly as possible, but Castleman beats him to it.
2 for 2, and as we pointed out, that 50-yarder, a Vanier Cup record. He can better this by making this one 52 yards. It would be a short-lived record at 50. And a good break for Calgary, heading to the half. It's blocked. Brian Heslop recovers it, and the Mustangs take over at their 49-yard line with 18 seconds to go.
See, it's blocked, and Brian Heslop picks it up. He's a defensive back, but a good job by Malachuk to tackle him. I believe that's also Gene Stahl in there making the tackle. But now Western want to try to move the ball at least 25 yards to give Garrett McBride a shot.
Well, even if they don't, it's certainly a better omen to go to the half, not allowing Calgary any more points. It looked like the Dinos would have them. Goldie will throw, looking for that field goal range, picked off. Patrick Hardy still on the move, flags down. Hardy regroups and is finally brought down by Tom McConnell at the Calgary 54-yard line.
Just not a good throw by Warren Goldie. You can see Patrick Hardy sitting on that. You know, he's just backed off. He's not going to have anything go over his head, and then, you know, he sees Warren Goldie take a non-throwing hand off the football to deliver it, and he jumps up, and the ball is thrown well inside. You want to complete that ball, and you want to make sure it's not intercepted. It has to be low and outside, so the defender can never take that away from him.
The flag was thrown after the interception, so it will be Calgary football.
But you know, for Calgary right now with 5 seconds left, if they throw a real quick one and then the receiver goes down, the clock will stop. You don't have to wait for anybody to touch him in college football. Once that knee touches the ground, now they can get a quick 10-yard play in here, and they can put Malachuk back into field goal range.
Because these games can be so explosive, wouldn't rule it out, but look at the formation. They're just going to run this thing out now, content with a 16-point lead to take into the locker room at halftime. And the clock does wind down, and the first half of Vanier Cup 31 is in the history books, and it favors the Calgary Dinos so far, leading 26-10 over the Western Ontario Mustangs. Down to the sidelines now, and Leif Pettersson.
All right, thank you, Rod. Head coach Peter Cannella, and clearly your team made the big plays in that first half.
Well, we did come up with some good plays and some, I think maybe a little break or two there, but it'll be a very tough second half. Western has been down before, and they've come back very strong.
Sorry, you have to be thrilled with the way Sasha Blaskovich has played.
Well, we knew that he could do the job if he had to. He's been in the same situation a couple of times this year and has come in and done the job, so we expect him to do it in the second half as well.
Most games are won in the trenches. Clearly, I think your team dominated in that department in the first half.
Well, to this point in time, I'm very pleased with the way the offensive line is playing, and the defense has done a good job of swarming tackling.
Do you expect Aston to be back in the second half?
I don't know at this point in time.
What are you going to tell the fellas at halftime? 16-point lead.
Well, just exactly what I said. Western's come back from 16 points down.
I hear you.
We better get after it.
All right, Coach, get in there.
Thank you.
John Wells, back to you.
16 points, not quite enough to get Peter Cannella to smile. The Western Mustangs head to their room trying to regroup. They scored the first touchdown of Vanier Cup 95, but Calgary came back to score 3 and add 2 field goals for a 26-10 advantage at the half. We're live at Skydome.
The Western Mustangs trail 33-10 with 12:59 to go in the third quarter. And they'll be getting the ball back and needing to do something with it. Mustangs have been in a lot of close games. They'll really have to get it going if they want this one to be close. And a short return just across The 30-yard line down to the western sidelines now, and Darren Detition.
Hey, Rod, I'll tell you, when the Mustangs came out here to start the second half, they were an emotionally high football team. You couldn't tell that they were down big at halftime. But then Calgary, on their opening drive, marched it downfield, and you could just see the air going out of the sails. Yet they maintain on the sidelines. There's still a lot of football to be played. They have to score here.
All right, thank you, Darren. Big task ahead. And an injured player down for the Calgary Dinos.
I believe that's Ken Esslinger, number 29, the reserve tailback. He's going to be grabbing his arm when he was coming off the field after making the tackle. This is so typical today. Look at that. Splits the wedge, gets in there, and makes a tackle.
On Sean Reed. What a brilliant move by Esslinger.
And you know what? That's just great play. That's attitude. When you run down the field, split the wedge, and then you make the tackle, that is great attitude.
Calgary with some great athletes, not only in their units, offense and defense, but boy, on special teams as well. Saw that in Don Blair in blocking a punt. And Esslinger as well. Esslinger, a key running back for the Dinos 2 weeks ago in the Canada West final. Chris Lewis had gained 112 yards in the first half. Peter Cannellan switched them, put in Esslinger, and they didn't miss a beat. They continued to gain lots of yards on the ground. 1st and 10 Western. Mustangs just across the 30-yard line. Needing to drive this football, and they run the draw, and they run it well. A first down. Sean Reed gets up closer to midfield across the 50.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's one guy who certainly hasn't given up, and that's Sean Reed. He has a huge heart, and you could just see right there when they ran that draw. He just explodes up the field. Again, they run that trap, they bring the left guard across. Doug Scarlett, number 53, and then Sean just bolts ahead.
Reed had gained over 1,000 yards, 1,062 during the regular season. First down Mustangs. They run it again, and it's big Jason McKibben bowling his way across for another Western first down. They can run that football today.
And now they're starting to run the trap inside a little bit. They ran it with Sean Reed to the right. Now they run the inside trap with the fullback and get the big block from Sonny Parada, the right guard.
Later in the game, as good as it is to run along the ground, this will hurt Western if they're still far behind. They'll need to throw it.
But this is a huge drive for them. They have to get some points out of this drive, and they have to get a touchdown.
And there is still lots of time. 12:06 left in the third quarter. They run again, this time a shorter gain, about 3 or 4 yards for Sean Reed. Larry Haler has seen both sides of the fence. He's lost 2 Vanier Cups. He has won 2 Vanier Cups. He's had some outstanding football teams. He is one outstanding coach, CIAU Coach of the Year in 1990. And for some, they thought it was long overdue.
There's a situation now when you have a young offensive line, and Calgary like to play those games up front and stunt, create some problems for Western.
2nd and 7. At the Dinos 52, Goldie drops back to pass and does for Stuart Peak, but it falls a little short and a little behind them for an incomplete pass.
And you know, Goldie had him because he realized right now that he had both linebackers were coming. He knew he had Stuart Peak going in the middle, but and they had it all picked up. He just saw him, and he just didn't get his feet set properly, threw the ball behind him.
And 2 guys going for the pass. Reed might have thought it was for him.
Yeah, that's bingo cross, though. They're trying to run Reed underneath, and then take Stuart Peak a little bit deeper. And I think Warren Goldie was trying to get the ball to Stuart Peak. It was a good decision, but he had time to sit there in the pocket and deliver it.
So the Mustangs move the ball, but not well enough. Standing back inside his 45 is Garrick McBride. Remember, he had a punt blocked in the first half by Don Blair. This time they drop back for a return, and with less pressure, McBride gets a beauty away. Chases Jayusi to his 10, but he's got a great run back. Over the 30, the 35, and he's stopped there by Sean Reed. Taken down. Stay tuned following today's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. First down, Calgary Dinos. Blaskovich hands off to Chris Lewis. Picks up about 3-4 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and long, Calgary.
I'm really, so far in this game, Rod, it's been special teams that has been a huge favor of Calgary in a big way. Of course, the block punt and the nice punt return there by Jayusi.
And we saw in just that previous punt by McBride, Sean Reed getting in there. Aggressive and punt cover as well. See the stars like Reed and Blair doing it all, not just carrying or catching the football. Backfield clears. Blaskovich will throw, looking to his left. And finding a receiver wide open, it's Brett Campbell. First down, Calgary, near midfield.
You know, they're just not getting any pressure at all on the quarterback at all. They're not forcing him to try and throw the ball quickly. He's getting back there. He's got all sorts of time. He can look downfield and find a receiver. They try and run a little game here. They take the inside defensive tackle, Derek Parks, and loop him outside, but Calgary do a great job of picking him up. And Sasha Blaskovich has all sorts of time and finds Brett Campbell.
Calgary has been able to run the ball. They've been able with a backup quarterback to throw it as well, and that's why they lead. They're throwing again for Campbell again, and it's overthrown.
You know, Calgary continue to pull the trigger. They're not going to sit back and settle with just trying to run the ball and run the time off the clock. They want to continue to score, and that's the proper way to approach this game right now. Jason Assen still involved in this football game. Even though he's not on the field, he is sending in the signals to Sasha Blaskovich. 9-13. Wow, what great yardage. 178 yards. Wow.
Trying to imagine the mixed emotions of Assen. Obviously happy his team is leading, and that's the primary function here, but probably wanting to play desperately as well, but liking the job his understudy Blaskovich is doing. Will throw again. Big pressure on by Western. It's complete. Tarek Jayusi takes it down to the Western 34-yard line. First down, Dinos.
Boy, he seems to be cool as a cucumber sitting back there in the pocket. You know, Western now are starting to gamble a little bit on defense. They feel they've got to make something happen. They bring both outside halfbacks, Ryan Lyons and also Heslop. You see in the backside, Brian Heslop coming, just doesn't get there in time. Nice job by Blaskovich to get the ball off for a big completion.
The Dinos with a 23-point lead on the move again. The handoff to Chris Lewis. Gets 5 and gets more than that. It'll be second and short, Calgary, and Calgary has been relentless, even in this second half with a big lead, knowing how Western can come back in this football game. The Dinos on the move. And Warren Goldie with a big job ahead.
Chris Lewis almost losing the football, but manages to squeeze it back.
Here come the Dinos again. Blaskovich, and that was for Jayusi, but really overthrows him that time. The ball trails off into the end zone and out again.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown too many bad balls today. That's really one of them. That just got away from him. But nonetheless, Brian Malachik comes in to attempt a field goal.
And with him, Jason Assen, the starting quarterback who was injured, but well enough to hold for the lefty, Brian Malachik. With a kick in the first half of 50 yards. Impressive considering his longest of the year was 44. And this one will come about the 36-yard line. Easily within his range, especially the range he has established today. Looking to make it a 26-point Calgary lead. Flags are down. Looks to be offside.
I mean, we saw that last play, Rob, where whoever was offside, whether it was legal procedure by Calgary or Western was offside. It was Western. You know, this kind of day it's been. David Burney gets in there and he's offside and he still doesn't block the punt or the field goal attempt. Right here, you're going to see Burney. He's going to jump offside. Now he gets in and he gets a clean shot and he still doesn't block it. I mean, that's the kind of day it's been for Western.
And with that, the 5 yards, of course, the drive continues for Calgary.
Gives him a first down.
Offside. Western. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, David Burney, a great football player, but he's made a couple of big mistakes today. One, the roughing of the passer that kept that Calgary drive going.
24-yard line of the Mustangs. 33-10 Calgary. Looking for more here midway through the third quarter. The toss. Chris Lewis takes it down to the 20 and another flag on the play.
This now is a break for Western. That's going to be holding against Calgary.
Holding. Calgary, number 39. 10-yard penalty. First over.
And that's a lead fullback. That's Gene Stahl who's leading on that pitch. So he's out in front. He's going to kick out Ryan Lyons, number 4. Now he gets that right arm in there, and then he grabs the back of his sweater. That's a good call by the official. David Burney comes across and makes a tackle, but now it takes them back 10 more yards. Second down and 20, or excuse me, first down and 20.
There are very few penalties in the first half, but picking up a little bit in that department here in the second half. Back out to the 34-yard line for Calgary now. First down, 20 yards to go. Dinos have the big lead. They want more. Looking for more now in the end zone. What a great defensive play by Xavier Lafont. Another near touchdown for Tarek Jayusi.
It's a nice play by Xavier Lafont. They've been going after him today, and Tarek Jayusi has really had his way with him so far until this pass. This one's thrown a little bit late, Rod. He's got to throw a little bit earlier and allow Jayusi to run underneath it, but a nice job. Gets that right hand in there at the last moment to knock the ball away. Has pretty good height of the ball, but again, if he throws a little bit sooner, throws a little bit deeper, that's a touchdown.
Second and 20. Dinos within Malashik's field goal range. Looking to pick up some more. Pressure on. They dump it off to Blair. Room to run. And then some. Don Blair. Touchdown, Calgary. And a flag is dropped in the end zone.
But a great football play. They run sprint-o pass.
Calgary, number 20. 10-yard penalty. Applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
And they delay Blair coming underneath. Looks like he's going to seal. Then he comes underneath, dump it to him. Nobody inside. With his kind of speed, that's 6 points. Again, look at this. Looks like he's going outside now. Stop. Come back across. Bang. Now he's all the way across the field. Gets a couple of blocks outside. Now he turns it up the field and explodes through that little hole.
Yet another example in why he is the Heck Crichton Trophy winner, is the most outstanding player in the CIAU this year. The convert is good, and that big lead has gotten a lot bigger. The Calgary Dinosaurs lead the Western Mustangs 40-10 with 6:38 to go in the third quarter. Calgary Dinos now have a 30-point lead. Down to their sideline now, and Lee Pedersen.
Thanks very much, Rod. Quarterback Sasha Blaskovich. That's one of the prettiest drives we've seen all year. You must feel pretty good right about now.
I feel pretty good. We're moving the ball really well. On that last play that Don just scored on, I actually called the wrong play, but I'm glad I did now.
Better to be lucky than good, right?
That's right. Yeah. I feel pretty good. Don's catching the ball really well. That one got tipped, but he caught it. I'm glad he's got great concentration.
Thanks for your time, fellas.
Well, better be lucky and good. In that case, he was both. Sasha Blaskovich has been great.
What he's got to learn, though, is never admit it. Never admit it on national television. Say, hey, I had that plan all the way.
No wonder you told me you never made a mistake. A lot of fun for those guys. Easier to bear the shirts when you're indoors at Skydome, of course. Don Blair, well, he's done it all. 3 touchdowns on the day, and 1 even on special teams, blocking a punt. You can see why he is the top player in the country this year. So here's Brian Malashik to do what he's been doing a lot of today. With a 40-10 lead, he will kick off. Damian Lowry, Sean Reed, backcourt for Western. It goes to Lowry at his 20-yard line. Working to the right, thought he had a bit of room. He's down, and a flag is down once again on the play.
It's going to be a legal block against Western. And you know what's so impressive about Calgary? Their first wave has made the tackle every play today on kickoff.
Holding against the Mustangs, and they'll start even in a bigger hole. Already down by 30 points, 6:33 to go. And a Calgary player down on the field as the training staff comes out to have a look. Bear in mind last year.
Legal block on the run back. Western number 20. 10-yard penalty. First down.
The legal block instead of holding. But bear in mind last year, Saskatchewan trailed by 20 points in the fourth quarter and still came back to force a tie.
See the top of the right of your screen. calling a penalty. Legal block just on the left-hand side there, saying that he did not have contact in the front of the player's body, but from behind.
And that's where the injury occurred. Training staff still looking. The Dinos player.
You know, Rod, let's talk a little bit about, as you see Don Blair on the sideline, that's a great guy to talk about because he has really been the star of this game. No question. A block punt for a touchdown, 2 touchdown pass receptions.
And look at the number of receptions, only 3, and yet 2 touchdowns.
But he kills you. I mean, you know, just having Don Blair in the game in terms of what Western wanted to try to do to him, take him away, but we talked about how many other weapons that Calgary has, and in particular, the guy who's really come to the forefront has been Tarek Jayusi.
And that injured Dino was Brendan Ward, number 24. He is just getting off the field now, and they're getting set to resume this game. 40-10 Calgary, and time ticking in the 3rd quarter. Mustangs really up against it now. And deep in their own territory to start. They've got to start throwing this ball. Goldie airs it out for McConnell, and it is overthrown past the midfield stripe.
And there's the difference right there. See Warren Goldie, he's lying on his backside. Sasha Blaskovich today has not been touched. Jason Assen, except for that one injury earlier. But take a look at this throw. Gets it off. Bang.
That's Gene Laria in there. Not a starter in this football game, but in giving Goldie the pop. 2nd down and 10, and a long way to go for the Western Mustangs, who are more than 4 converted touchdowns behind. Jason McKibben runs the ball and fumbles, but the Mustangs have it back. And one thing we were talking about, Jamie, before, Western can run the ball. They've established that, and I assume Calgary will give them that now. Running the ball isn't much good when you're this far behind, even though we're in the late in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Calgary's going to go into what they call that pass posture defense. They'll give this up right now. You see Jason McKibben picking his way. Gets the ball out, a good strip. And Sonny Parada comes up and holds the ball, but Western's going to be short of the 1st down. 3rd down and about 2 yards, and they're going to have to go for it.
Absolutely no choice at all at this stage of the game. 3rd and 2. Mustangs at their 25 and going for it. And they do try to run, and they do have the 1st down. Once again, it's McKibben out over the 30 to the 32-yard line.
And now Western's going to have to get into the lightning offense right now. They cannot afford to waste time huddling up. They're down 30 points. They need to get something going. Off tackle play here to McKibben. You can see they get great penetration. Defensive lineman, that's Shuchuk, number 65. You know, that's the kind of day it's been. You cannot allow penetration, short yardage. The offensive lineman got to come down, and they try and kick it out. But just fire in that gap.
Another Dino on the field.
I think that's Greg Clarkson, number 63. They don't have numbers in the top of their shoulders. I believe that is a 3.
Well, you know, given the history, the recent history of this Vanier Cup.
Sorry, it's Jay Kleinsasser, the middle linebacker.
Kleinsasser gets up, heading off, and another native of Calgary. Boy, out of the 24 starters in this football game, you know, 16 of them, 2/3 from Calgary.
See Kleinsasser, 62 in the middle. And looks like he gets his neck all twisted up in there. Seems to be no worse for wear coming off the field right now. He'll be probably back in. 4th on this team, 31 tackles this season.
As they say, one of the many products of the Calgary High School program. Doing well today. Goldie off the hands of Stuart Beek, and they're saying no good. It looked like it was picked off by Philip Schnell, number 25.
Philip Schnell, the all-conference inside halfback at Canada West this year. Thought he had an interception. This is so uncharacteristic of Stuart Beek. Usually makes those catches. Comes in. Oh, good call by the official. Looks like it bounced off the carpet.
Nothing going Western's way right now. They'll try again. Goldie reloads and looks for Sandy McGregor. At the 50-yard line, McGregor's first catch of the day.
Hey, that's a nice job by McGregor and Goldie, because when he gets turned around, the ball's right there. But the coverage that Calgary has in Western's receivers right now, they're just like covering like blankets. This is Patrick Hardy. Look, he's all over him right now. Look, gets that left hand in there, almost knocks it away.
Goldie throws again. And a big pop, and Calgary picks up the ball, but they are whistling it down. It's John Colavini.
This is a guy who I think has been a great star for this defense. Not very big, but look, he's squatting in the inside. It means he's just dropping back, waiting for this kind of stuff to come across. Bang.
Sean Reed, a couple of trains meet there. Reed takes the ball and then takes a licking.
That's a fumble, I think, right there. I think Sean Reed has control of it. And then Colavini pops it loose. Western caught a break.
And they need breaks badly. Trailing big time and throwing now just about every down. Goldie, it's picked off. Picked off. Patrick Hardy, big run back for Calgary. Across midfield, across the 45-yard line of the Mustangs, and there is a flag on the play. A 23-yard return for the conference all-star Patrick Hardy.
Again, Sandy McGregor goes down and runs it in. Warren Goldie thinks he's throwing it outside, but look at that. That's not anywhere close. Hardy's just looking into the quarterback the whole way.
Western number 66, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Little frustration by Warren Goldie right now.
And the penalty was against Western to boot. So the ball sits just inside the Western 40.
Looks like Warren Goldie's great playoff run has ended.
Blaskovich hands off to Lewis. A short gain down to the Calgary sidelines. Once again, here is Lee Pedersen.
All right, and with a very happy Patrick Hardy, your second interception of the day. You're just sitting back, and they made a bad throw, didn't they?
Yeah, it was probably a bad throw. I don't ever want to put anybody down. He's such a good quarterback, but maybe it's just a bad decision under pressure. My D-line is getting pressure all day, and I just capitalized on a bad decision.
Keep all the receivers in front of you now.
All right, thanks. Hi, Grandpa. How you doing?
Second and long, Calgary. Will they keep it on the ground? No, they won't. They will throw and find Tarek Jayusi for a first down and more. Jayusi inside the 20 to the 17-yard line Western. Calgary is not at all content with a 30-point lead. The Dinos want more, and they're within range to get it.
And you know, if you could use one word to sum up this game, it is speed right now. Calgary has great speed in their outside receivers. Nice job right there. Then he breaks the tackle. Now he gets it right up the field.
Sasha Blaskovich is in his 4th year. He is playing today like he has started for all 4 of those years. Relieving Jason Assen admirably and looking to throw again. And finding a man, Brett Campbell, down near the Western goal line. It'll be first and goal, Dinos. Looking to pad an already humongous lead.
And you know, when you get a quarterback, they call it getting into the zone, and that's exactly where Blaskovich is right now. I mean, he feels so much confidence right now that anything that he throws is going to be complete. Play action pass to Lewis. Look at that. Looks right, and comes all the way back, and that's pretty good coverage right there by Anthony Lane. But Brett Campbell comes up with a nice catch, and Blaskovich puts it right on the money.
Calgary's O-line has done an outstanding job today as well. The handoff, Lewis, touchdown, Calgary. And the big lead keeps getting bigger with 2:39 to go in the quarter.
University of Calgary came into this game with great purpose, losing the Vanier Cup in 1993 to Toronto. They're awful hungry. They get Barkley Anderson around. He leads in for Chris Lewis. Again, into the end zone 3 yards before he's even touched.
It's a point after try. And another one good for Brian Malashik. Boy, Calgary Dinos 47-10 now over Western.
And you know, Rod, there's 2 depressed people here, very depressed head coaches here. One obviously is Larry Halo right now, but the other one I would suggest would be Brian Towers from the University of Saskatchewan, who was in this game a year ago, had a big lead against Calgary in the Hardy Cup and lost in overtime 32-30, and he's probably thinking, you know what, this is probably our year to do it.
Brian Towers and the rest of the Saskatchewan Huskies who might be watching this football game and yes indeed wondering what might have been. And Calgary had that, Saskatchewan rather had that lead at McMahon Stadium, and an admirable comeback by the Dinos to get them here. They have made the most of it. We have seen some great comebacks in our time watching football, not only at this level. With 2:39 to go in the third quarter, however, this would be the greatest I have ever seen, and I don't know if I like Western's chances all that much right now.
Well, you know what's incredible is that in the regular season, Calgary was giving up close to 30 points per game on defense. But this is a defense that looks excellent, great. They've shut down Western, and Western had a very good offense this year. It came into this game averaging 27 points against, but boy, the last week only allowing 7 against Ottawa. And of course, today only allowing the Mustangs to 10.
Down to the 12-yard line, taken again by Damian Lowry. He's got some room. Across the 40-yard line. And are they calling it a fumble? No. Once again, here's Lee Pedersen.
Well, Ron, I had Ben Fairbrother, the fine offensive tackle with the Calgary Dinosaurs. They were checking to see if it was a fumble. He's going to come back and join me right now. Hey, listen, Ben, the offensive line, you guys have done a terrific job run blocking and pass blocking. Did you think it would be that easy you could dominate up front?
No, we didn't initially. Still a tough battle out there every down. It's just credit to the guys we're playing with, the 5 guys I'm playing with, that we've been able to play well and pick up the stunts that they've been bringing at us, as well as the pass rush and the running blocks that we've been doing.
Terrific job.
Thank you.
1st and 10 Mustangs. Sean Reed. Haven't seen a lot of them today. This will be his biggest gain of the day as he takes it out across midfield for a first down for the Mustangs. 15 yards for Reed.
It's the kind of thing they wanted to do earlier in the game, is try and get Reed outside. You see the kind of speed he has, because Pat Hardy, the corner, possesses great speed and gets around the corner. But once again, John Colavini, number 11 in there, helping with the tackle.
1st and 10, Western, just across midfield. 47-10. They're 37 points behind and running the football. And they run it up for a good gain, although it seems less significant with the clock continuing to tick and wind down here in the third quarter.
Steve Samways normally has the headphones on. Larry does not have them on usually, Larry Haler, but now he's put them on and he's talking to the spotters on the booth.
2nd down, about 4 to go for Goldie, airing it out. And he's got a completion. Sandy McGregor down inside the Calgary 30. This is what the Mustangs need, and they need it in a hurry.
Well, it's interesting to hear Ben Fairbrother's comments on the sidelines, saying that, we still think that they're a good team. They can still come back and win, because I think Western was probably hoping that maybe Calgary was such a big lead would just kind of relax right now.
Maybe Calgary has seen so many comebacks they know anything can happen. And the handoff. McKibben bowls his way over the 20-yard line. It'll be 2nd and short, Mustangs. With their first big drive of the half. This is, in Calgary and Western, the last team that won it outdoors in the Vanier Cup in 1988 against the first team that won it indoors. Western won the year after Calgary did in '89. Since then, Calgary is 2-0 on the Skydome turf. Actually, Western is 2-0. The Dinos are 0-1, but looking to get that first victory here today, and it's looking good right now. Sean Reed, on short yardage, gets the first down for Western. Mustangs trying to keep it going. 36 seconds to go in the third quarter, down by 37.
Well, Western certainly need to get some momentum back here right now, and Mike Wilson checks into the football game. Kevin Foster goes out. Tony Fasano put up a great defense today. He's a defensive coordinator and quite familiar with Western. Was a player at with McMaster Marauders back in the early 80s.
First down, and they run up the middle. McKibben again, tricking a few Dinos on the play. And 8 seconds to go on the clock, and counting down now here in the third quarter.
They'll get one more play off before the quarter expires. Again, inside trap. Bang to McKibben. A good job by the linebacker coming across. Mike Nightingale, who was out prior to the Hardy Cup, had respiratory problems, but he's come back and he's starting to play some now. It's really incredible when you think of this Calgary defense. A lot of those front 7 in their force unit are only in third year, so they'll be back with the exception of Rob Richards.
2nd down, but 4 to go. McKibben again, and gets closer to the goal line, down to the Calgary 2. It'll be 1st and goal, Western Mustangs, and without question, as they prepare to change ends, Western needs to put it in the end zone. Through 3 quarters, all Calgary. The Dinos 47, the Western Mustangs 10. We'll be back with more Vanier Cup action after this. Calgary leading by 37. Western is pressing. First and goal. At about the 2-yard line of the Dinos. They need to get it in. Absolutely no question. And they're stopped short. They'll have 2 more tries. Sean Reed, the ball carrier.
Well, that's just a great job from Mike Nightingale. You know, the experienced linebacker. Hasn't played much in the last few weeks, but boy, does he step up here and stop Sean Reed from getting into the end zone. Again, they try to run off tackle, kick outside, but watch that. Look at that bang right there. Head down.
No sign of let up in the Dinos. Playing it as if this one would be to win the ball game. And it looks like they take it across. They do. Touchdown Western. Warren Goldie.
Warren Goldie, big tall quarterback, 6'4", 230 pounds, a yard or less. They should give it to the big guy. He just reaches the ball over the goal line to get it in for a touchdown. But look how much harder it was for Western to get into the end zone than it was for University of Calgary. But nonetheless, they're on the scoreboard. Sorry, Rod.
Garrick McBride lining up for the convert. And if he gets it, it cuts the lead to 30 points. A lot of points, a lot of ground they'd have to pick up in 1 quarter of play. But, as they say, 1 touchdown at a time. That's the only way Western can think now.
And this will create a little bit of a dilemma now for Peter Cannellan and his quarterback, Sasha Blaskovich, because, you know, with 15 minutes left, I'm sure they do not want to sit on this lead and just try and run the ball. But, you know, Western now knowing they need a big break, and Calgary does not want to give any momentum at all back to Western. I would think Peter Cannellan will just continue to run the offense the way he's been running it.
Third quarter was the big quarter. Calgary outscored Western 21-0, and that certainly bears out after 3.
And look at the yards passing. That really has been the big statistic there. And turnovers. 3 turnovers for Western. Calgary has played error-free.
And the Calgary Dinos tying a CIAU record for touchdowns in a game with Vanier Cup record, with the Calgary Dinos of 7 years ago, and the McGill Redmen the year before that. Remember when they had a huge margin of victory over UBC, McGill did.
McGill Redmen had a couple of nice backs there, Michael Souls and Jerry Eiffel. Michael Souls, of course, with the Edmonton Eskimos now.
Well, what's the date today, Jamie? Where's this guy going to be in a month?
Yeah, 1 month. He'll be visiting my kids.
But not you, right?
Not me. I get a lump of coal this year.
Santa just enjoying the game here before he and the reindeer get pretty busy, and all the elves get working on things. They got a month to go. Get all those gifts together. Western needs a gift, and they might get it. Well, it looks like the Dinos have fallen on it in the short kick, and they'll start an excellent field position as well. But it's not like the Mustangs didn't have a chance to fall on that football. It'll be first down, Calgary.
They put Stuart Beek way out on the left-hand side. He's a big, tall, 6'6" tight end. He taps it back, and now Western has a great chance for it right here. See, it goes through Todd McKay. Mike Curtis has a chance for it. Nice job by Stuart Beek. Bats it back. Mike Curtis has a chance for it, but can't grab it. Ryan Carruthers for Calgary comes up with it.
Even when things go right for Western today, they wind up going wrong. Calgary, first down and 10, inside Western territory. Run the football. And a good gain on the run as well by Chris Lewis. Down to the Western sideline, and Darren Detishin.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. Warren Goldie was desperately hoping that the Stangs would come up with the football. You scored on your last possession. Can you guys come back?
Well, it's going to be tough. This Calgary team came out ready and raring. Their offense is doing an amazing job, and their defense has really controlled our passing game. I think we can, you know, if we just call the right plays, we're moving along well, and it's just unfortunate that we didn't get a break like that. They came out really well prepared today.
They kept you off the field as well. Their offense has been basically moving the ball against your defense, as attested by the 47 points.
Yeah, they I couldn't hear the last part of the question.
I just said that their offense has really dictated the play for this game too, because they've kept you guys off the field by scoring 47 against your D.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do, was, you know, exact opposite. That's how you win football games, between two solid offenses. Their defense stuck us at first, let them get the lead. Now they're just running what they want because it's tough for our defense.
Back up to Rod.
Thanks, Darren. Obviously dejected Warren Goldie at this stage of the game. That run by Don Blair actually lost yardage. Therefore, Brian Malashik will be doing something he hasn't done much of today, punting.
And Western are going to go for the block here. They only have one player back. That's Jay Bailey.
Pulling out all the stops. They absolutely have to. 12:55 to go. Malashik gets the punt away. A low spiral for Jay Bailey. Can't quite get the bounce. He wants to pick it up and finally does at the 15. Nowhere to go. Red jerseys all around him. And Goldie and the Mustangs will go to work, needing to sustain another drive. Absolutely no question about it. And they'll start deep in their own territory.
Well, it's interesting when Darren asked Warren about, do you think he can come back? A little bit of hesitation there, but then he said, yeah, I think so. I'll tell you what, if he didn't say that, then you got to get him out of the football game, because you got to continue to try. No matter what the score is, you got to try and score all the time.
Well, the role model for comebacks was last year when Saskatchewan trailed by 20 at this point in the football game. Western trails by 30. A much, much bigger task for Warren Goldie and company. Starting out around their 20-yard line. Play action fake. Goldie to throw. And it's picked off. Bob Kidd. And he's got quite a run back going. Still on his feet. Kidd inside the Western 15. All smiles for Tony Bassano and the Calgary bench. A 27-yard return. That look says it all.
Well, turnovers have been Western's nemesis today, and right now Warren Goldie back to pass. Just doesn't get anything on that one. Kind of floats it over Sandy McGregor's head. He was trying to throw the dig. And right into Bob Kidd's hands. Makes a nice return on it, switching the ball. And Jason McGibbon comes up with the tackle. Again, McGregor, McConnell coming down to try to run inside routes. Ball's overthrown. And actually, it's McConnell's man who makes the interception.
Not only does Calgary get the ball back, they get it back with chance for more points. And they get them there. Don Blair with his 4th touchdown of the afternoon. If you can't put this one in the books yet, it's got to be coming awful soon.
Well, with just under 12 minutes left to go, I think it's a pretty safe assumption who's the most valuable player of this game. Number 20. Takes a bow.
They make it look so easy. Even though Western tried to get some momentum going. Calgary has answered right back for a 54-17 lead.
You know, we talked to his coaches just before the game, and I said, you know, was Don Blair really special when he came out of the Regina Rams? And he said, no, actually he wasn't. But he certainly is special today.
Sure is. Calgary leading big. We expected some records to fall today, and some of them have, including this one. Don Blair, 4 touchdowns, a Vanier Cup record, passing Mo Norston last year, who was tied for 3. What a day Don Blair has had. The Heck Crichton winner, and that might erase the Heck Crichton jinx, Jamie.
Yeah, well, only one other guy has done it, and that was Greg Vavra back in 1983, who won the Heck Crichton the same year they won the Vanier Cup.
And where did Greg Vavra play? University of Calgary Dinosaurs. Lowry on the kick return up across the 30 to the 34.
Warren Goldie still stays in the football game. This will be his last season guiding the Mustangs, a starting quarterback the last 2 seasons, and they had that magic year a year ago when they went 12-0.
And what makes Calgary's sheer dominance in this football game that much more impressive? Remember who they're playing. This Western team is a fine team, a fine football program, and competitive every year. Just not competitive today. I think a lot of people surprised by that. Sean Reed. And what a job Calgary's defense has done with Sean Reed. Down to the Calgary sidelines, and Lee Pedersen.
All right, Rod, thanks very much. Don Blair, did you realize that 4th touchdown is now a Vanier Cup record?
No, not since you just told me. I mean, that's great. I think that as a team, we're just totally dominating both sides of the ball, and I got to give Sasha Blaskovich all the credit. I mean, he came in and initiated like 3 drives that took us the whole length of the field, and that's a lot of pressure for a kid coming into a game, and you didn't expect to start. So way to go, Sash.
But you know what he needs around him is the supporting cast. I've seen a lot of football in the big games. Your star players have to play their best football, and you've certainly done that today.
Yeah, well, I think that everyone's played their best game today. I think it's just we came in here, and from the beginning of the game, we knew that that this was our game. So, you know, way to go for everybody.
No, I must tell you, I've seen a lot of young receivers, but I don't think I've ever seen one quite as smooth as you. And I understand that you said, geez, I hope I can play in the pros. Well, I can tell you, the lucky team that gets you in the draft this year is going to have a real blue chipper on their hands.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And I just hope that I can get the opportunity to take it to the next level. I think my university career has gone well so far, but, you know, I'm looking forward to the next step.
So you put the bobsledding career on hold for a while?
Well, I think so. It depends on how things go, but yeah, that's the way it's looking.
All right, Don, we'll talk to you after the game.
All right, thanks, Leaf.
Okay, Ron.
Thank you, Leaf. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, if Blair could bobsled the way he plays football, get him in the Olympics. Another record today, 54 points. And once again, they topped the 88 team that had 52 in beating St. Mary's. We expected a big day of offense, and we've got it. But from one team, an injured player for the Western Mustangs. That is number 53, Doug Scarlett, injured on that play on that rush by Sean Reed.
And you know, you think of the Western Mustangs, this team came in a year ago. They had to replace every offensive lineman, did not have a starter returning. And for them to go back to the Vanier Cup and have a 1,000-yard rusher in Sean Reed was really, truly a testament to this young, inexperienced offensive line. They just came up against a juggernaut today in the Calgary defense.
And you see here how Scarlett gets injured.
See, Jody Bednarik collides with him, the outside linebacker.
And Scarlett is leaving with a little bit of help, heading off the field now. I'm sure wounded in two ways, physically, and what a beating he and his teammates have taken at the hands of the Calgary Dinos today. And that expression on his face, you can see he is still in a lot of pain. The Mustangs move along. 2nd and 5 at their 39-yard line. The toss to Sean Reed. Calgary has really done a job on this today, and they do it again. No first down for Western. They'll have to go for it on 3rd.
And, you know, again, a great job by Garrett Everson. You know, he made the tackle the last play on Sean Reed. Now he does it again. This guy's a defensive lineman, and he just gets deep now. He runs down the line of scrimmage. Number 76. See him? He just sprints down there, runs him down, bang. Comes up, makes the tackle. I mean, that's just great, great defense by Calgary.
They left open the middle. Western's been able to run the ball up the middle, but because they shut down Warren Goldie's passing game, it didn't matter. They run well up the middle here. McKibben still on his feet and across the Calgary 50. Down to the 47-yard line. Boy, that is the one element of Western offense that has worked today.
Well, they've really tried to take away Sean Reed, and you know what? That's what they wanted to do, and they've been very successful at it today. And they're saying, you know what? We don't think that if Western wants to run the fullback, that's going to beat us today.
And it's worked to perfection. McKibben, more yardage up the middle. And another first down for Western, but bear in mind, with that running game, the clock continues to kick. Now under 10 minutes to go in essentially this football game with a 54-17 lead Calgary.
And Jason McKibben, 160 yards.
And 10 yards a carry.
And he's the injured football player right now. Replacing him will be a freshman. Oh, look at that. This guy's got great courage. Gets up, goes under his own steam. So he came in with a bad right knee and hamstring. Had to miss the game against Waterloo. And Craig Higgins, who will be the fullback of the future, they say. 6'3", 225 pounds. Freshman out of London South. Comes into the football game.
1st and 10, Western. At the 36-yard line of the Dinos, and they hand off again. This time to Sean Reed. Nothing doing once again. In a battle of the big stars, this has been no contest. Reed is an outstanding football player, but Calgary has done an outstanding job shutting him down today.
And I think if you talk to Tony Fasano, he would have said our game plan is initially you got to take Sean Reed out of the game. Okay, they did that. Then what they said we've got to do is take away their wide receivers, and they did that. That left Jason McKibben. You can't take away everything, but they didn't feel that was going to beat them.
The only way that would have worked is if Western's D could have stopped the Calgary O, and it could not. Goldie got a completion to Stuart Big. A big pop down near the Calgary 10. 1st and 10. Western pressing.
We've seen some great catches today, Rod, and that one there we have to rank right up with it. I mean, this ball is thrown a little bit behind, or quite a bit behind Stuart Peak. Look at the body control here. Turns around, snags it while his body momentum is going to the sideline. And he lowers his shoulder, and Rob Kidd comes up with a tackle.
Kidd with a big interception earlier in the quarter. There's another run down inside the Calgary 5-yard line for Craig Higgins, his first carry, filling in for Jason McKibben.
And that's a player they really like at Western. They feel that he's going to be the fullback of the future.
And off to Reed, close to the end zone. Down around the 1 or 2 yard line. Long drive for the Mustangs, but a much longer day. What an impressive performance all round by the Calgary Dinosaurs, who have won 3 Vanier Cups and are on the verge 8 minutes away from winning their 4th.
Well, that'll be 3rd down and goal.
Peter Cannellan dominating teams in 83 and 85 and again in 88. Came close in 93 and a heartbreaking loss. It doesn't look to be any heartbreak for Calgary today. There's a touchdown for the Western Mustangs, but with 7:40 to go, it will not be nearly enough.
Now Craig Higgins went out of the football game. They brought back in Jason McKibben, and he's the lead blocker when they get in the I formation. The straight off tackle. Sean Reed lowers his shoulder and turns his body sideways and finds that little crease to get into the end zone.
For what it's worth, the Mustangs have outscored the Dinos in this 4th quarter. This convert makes it 14-7 in the 4th quarter for the Mustangs. But the big picture has Calgary leading and leading big. It is 54-24. The Dinos about to win it all. $29,178 fans here watching Calgary leading big over Western. Down to the Calgary sideline, and Lee Pedersen.
All right, Rod, thanks very much. With quarterback Jason Assen. Listen, I know you want to finish, you would have wanted to finish the game today, but you still have to be pleased with the way things have gone.
Oh, geez, to have a Vanier Cup, you know, well, it's not in the bag yet, 7 minutes left, but, you know, this is a pure team. You know, when guys go down, big players, and guys step up and fill the role, it's just outstanding.
I don't think anybody stepped up better than your understudy, Sasha Blaskovich. A comment on him.
I've got to give him all the credit in the world. You know, he's got a lot of confidence. He's been around for a while. He knows the offense, and he ran it to perfection today.
What a way for a 5-year starter to finish his career.
That's kind of nice. I wish I could have been on the field, but to finish my 5th year, my last game in the Sky Dome, and to have a ring on my finger, it's going to be great.
You and I met back in 1992, and I've had a lot of fun watching you play, and you're a fine young gentleman. Best of luck in your post-football career.
Thanks a lot, Leaf.
All right, fellas.
All right, thank you, Leaf, and I'm sure for Jason Assen, doesn't hurt all that much to see what his team has done today.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's the guy that got them here, no question about it. And, you know, for Sasha Blaskovich, he's had that great game.
They try the short kickoff again. And once again, this time the Mustangs do get it. They almost gave it away again. And what's interesting for a short kickoff is they wind up with great field position because the ball continued to roll. Craig Higgins finally recovering that football, and Western will take over at the Calgary 35.
It looked like Calgary had it initially here. But you can see it was a good job. He got big hit. The ball pops loose now. Now the man scramble, and Craig Higgins does a good job of jumping on it.
Mustangs not quitting. Down big, 30 points, 7:20 to go. Not much chance here, but no reason not to try. And nothing doing at the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd and long for Western.
And the clock continues to run. Western will not huddle up. They'll run their lightning offense.
And Goldie, of course, to be passing and passing for Sandy McGregor. He's got him for 1st down yardage around the Calgary 20-yard line. Western again. They try the toss to Reed, right side. And once again, Calgary strings it out perfectly. No gain for Reed at all.
And what a great job by Greg Heisey coming from his halfback position. You know, they just took away all the elements that Western wanted to run there in that toss play. You know, they forced Sean Reed to look at turning it inside. Then he tried to use his speed to get outside, but Greg Heisey had the big line on him.
Goldie to try it again. No good. Let's head down to the western sideline and Darren DeTisha.
Hey, thanks very much, Rod. You've probably noticed that at this point in time, the offensive line has changed a little bit for the Western Mustangs. Number 53, Doug Scarlett's gone from the game. He's got bruised ribs. He won't be back.
Thank you, Darren. Tough day for that Western offensive line. One of the impressive stories for the Mustangs this year, the way they had an entire unit change, but Rob Richards of Calgary had a field day. The Mustangs are going for it, looking for Stuart Beacon. It is overthrown into the end zone. And the Calgary Dinosaurs will take over on downs, leading 54-24 with 6:03 left in this football game.
And you see Warren Goldie banging his head because he did have Stuart Beacon open. And nowhere near him. It's one of those days for Warren Goldie. Ron Bootleg does a good job here of pulling up because he got Parada coming around to kick out. Sees him, just overthrows.
1st and 10, Calgary. Blaskovich. The toss to Ken Esslinger in the ball game for Chris Lewis. He's bunched up around the Dino 23-yard line. Esslinger, we talked about before, was a key factor in the second half for Calgary. They changed their offense a bit, and they went to him instead of Chris Lewis, which was such a surprise 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan.
It's out of Cochrane, Alberta, and coached by a former Calgary Dinosaur quarterback, Rob McNabb. Sorry, Rod, he has the longest rush of the year as well, 56 yards in this football team, so he's got wheels.
Blaskovich is throwing, and throwing deep for Blair. Bit of a surprise, the score being what it is, and it falls incomplete, and the Dinos will be punting. A rarity for Calgary in this football game.
No, Calgary content just to continue to run their offense. If that means trying to throw the ball down the field to get the first down, so be it. 30-point lead with only 5 minutes left. I'm sure you're going to start to see a little bit of celebrating going on the sidelines down in that sea of red.
Well, tell me, in this celebration, will we see Peter Cannellan smile? He's got a very mild demeanor, very clever head coach, and great guy to talk to, but on the sidelines, that serious look in his face. I think he will crack a smile once this is all said and done. Mlashik. Jay Bailey takes it just across midfield. Topsy-turvy. That's Dan Jeremiah that sends him flying. Back down to the Calgary sideline now, and Lee Pedersen.
All right, Rod, and I've got a pretty happy fellow with me, Dr. Murray Fraser, the president of the University of Calgary, and nice game today.
That's terrific. Just a great way to end the season.
Now, they tell me you're leaving the university in July, so this is a pretty nice way to end your career.
We have a great university out there academically, and this is very sweet on the football field, let me tell you.
You know, Murray, it's fun for me to be around these young men, and I know you spend a lot of time with them. It's a pretty good group, isn't it?
Yes, they're wonderful people, and they've shown it today. It's a real team effort. Sasha coming in for Jason. Team records and everything happening really good.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, fellas.
Thanks, Leaf. Proud moment indeed for the University of Calgary, and they just keep it going. Garrett Everson there in the sack of Warren Goldie.
And you know what's nice about that is Dr. Murray Fraser, you know, he does go to all the football games. He's a real supporter. He's not just here because they're in the finals.
A lot to be proud of with the program UFC has put together and has had really since going back to the 70s. Peter Cannellan was with this fine program.
No, Peter Cannellan took them over on an interim basis in 1977, and that was the year they went to the Forest City Bowl. They did not win that football game, but then he came back as the head coach in 1983.
And he was an assistant on the 75 Dinos that lost to the Ottawa UGGs, who were being honored here today, the 20th anniversary of the GGs, and Neil Lumsden winning. But Cannellan was an assistant then in 75, and then in 77, as you say, coach of the year. And then winning those 3 Vanier Cups, winning the Vanier Cup in the first year. He was a head coach when he came back after filling in that 1 year in 1983. Keep it tuned to TSN tonight. The Advantage Curling World Tour continues live from Saskatoon. Semifinal 1 at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and then semifinal number 2 at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Only on TSN. A one-sided day here at Vanier Cup 31.
You have to say a lot about the fans from Calgary. They brought 400 from Calgary here to Toronto to see the Dinos play in the Vanier Cup.
Tough day for Western Ontario. Goldie with the ball. More pressure on him. There's been a lot of that today. Gets free and airs it out for McGregor. Nearly picked off. Dan Jeremiah down at the Calgary 5-yard line. The coverage has been outstanding. Calgary leads it big, about to win their 4th Vanier Cup. 54-24, 3:26 to go. Got to get insurance on that thing. Blaskovich, Calgary Dinos. What a day. 54-24 and only 3:24 left in this football game. I would assume they'd be content now to leave it on the ground and let this clock count down. And Esslinger takes it and falls down with no gain, maybe even a loss, but the clock will tick.
It's funny, we were just behind the Calgary bench up here, Rod, and still I yet to see players hugging one another and everything else. They're pretty confident, and there's Don Blair.
Well, Don Blair's wife could not be at this game or even watch it in Berlin at a skating competition today. He's finished in 19th place, and I know that Don is thinking about her, as I'm sure she is about him in the fine afternoon he has had here in Toronto. Tarek Jayusi taking the hitch pass and not much doing, so Calgary in a punting situation with 2:39 to go. And what a day for Tarek Jayusi. A significant play because that's when the quarterback change was made, and he had a touchdown in the first quarter.
One of the things when you run this, you want to try and get up the field and then back outside again. You don't want to be running back up the field because you run into guys like David Burney.
Western Mustangs know what winning is all about. That program has for years, and last year they sipped from the Vanier Cup. But as I said earlier, Larry Haler knows both sides of the fence. He knows this one as well. He's lost 2 Vanier Cups before, as well as winning 2. Even Brian Malashik set a nice tone early in this game when Calgary fell behind 7-0, hitting a 50-yard field goal. Definite confidence booster. Jay Bailey drops the ball. Flags in the play. It'll be no yards Calgary. The Dinos take it in. Dan Jeremiah, but it will not be a touchdown. I am sure that will be called back. Bailey dropped the ball, but they were within 5 yards.
And that is the call, Rod. No yards against Calgary. Tim Hughes, the safety, looking on.
Dan Jeremiah's brother Elio had a touchdown 10 years ago when the Calgary Dinos beat the Western Mustangs. Dan was hoping to keep it in the family.
And that's incredible when you think about it. All 4 brothers have Vanier Cups.
Dan is getting his today with 2:11 to go. No doubt now. A 30-point Calgary lead, 54-24.
There was no touchdown on the play, no yards. Calgary number 29, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Good example there where he's taking his eyes off the football before it's in his grasp, and that's why he fumbled it.
This Dinos team deserving to be compared with the great Dino teams of the 80s. A renewal of a Calgary legacy and a new quarterback, Jordan Haler, the son of the head coach Larry Haler, in the football game. And hands off. Tom McConnell goes around and gets close. I believe does have a first down up over the 45-yard line.
Well, many people thought Jordan Haler was going to be the quarterback for the Mustangs this season, but Warren Goldie decided to come back to school. Only had 1 start this year, and that was against the University of Toronto, a game in which Western tied Toronto 19-all. And the question for Larry would be whether or not his son will be back for his 5th and final year, because he is in his 4th year.
The only one certain not to be back for the Mustangs of 3 receivers. Beek, McConnell, McGregor, all fifth-year guys. And it looked like Stuart Beek jumped there. Flag on the field, and should be Western offside. Or a motion penalty. 1:42 now left on the clock. This must be the most painful time on the losing bench, when there is no chance of a comeback and having to just wait it out. I'm sure all you want to do now is just head to that dressing room and call it a day.
Legal procedure. Western number 72. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And I think, Rod, to go along with that as well, and you see Peter Cannellan on the sidelines, he's starting to smile a little bit.
I saw a hit of a smile there.
But he maybe knew he was on camera and he turned it off.
Peter's got a lot to smile about today, as do all of these Dinos. What a show they have put on at Vanier Cup 31, and they're about to reap the reward. Craig Higgins, reserve running back, takes it in across the 45-yard line.
And, you know, Rob, when you were talking about, you know, what a great job that Calgary has done, and when you're sitting on the sidelines in your Western right now and you see that there's no chance of coming back, and you pretty much figured this game was over with about 8 or 9 minutes left to go for sure. The thing that really stings you, though, as well, and I'm sure what bothers Larry Haler, is that Calgary also set a record in terms of points scored against your team.
That would rub it in. Haler to throw, and it's over Sean Reed's fingertips. 1:14 now on the Skydome clock. 1:16 to go.
Jordan Haler was going to run off the field. It's 3rd down and 9, but you might as well just run your offense, give some guys some experience.
Now
there he is.
There's a big smile.
Coach of the Year in 1977 and also 1983.
The year they won Vanier Cup. First of 3 times in the 80s. A big pop by John Colavini on Kevin Foster. And it's just about celebration time down at the Dino bench.
Well, John Colavini, I think he's had a whale of a game on defense. And again, you know, when you're in zone coverage, receivers got to stop. You can't run through zones like that. That's exactly what's going to happen. Colavini's watching the quarterback's eyes. He just turns, waits for Foster to catch it, and then he drills him right in the chest. He was a corner at one time this season, but they had some injuries. And then when Rob Kidd came back, they decided to put him at outside linebacker, or really that rover back. They really run a 4-2 style defense. Tom McConnell, the team captain for the Mustangs, his 5th and final year, his last game.
Jason Assen back in at quarterback. And they hand off, and a little to gain. And what are you thinking here? Just get him in and get him a few more downs. He's had some. Threw a touchdown pass early in the game, but let him have a taste of this.
I think it's a good idea to put it in. He's not going to throw the ball anymore, probably. That sore shoulder, and this will be his last game. Had a great career, 2 Vanier Cup appearances, going to walk away with a victory. Nothing sweeter than in your final year to win a Vanier Cup.
And I will never forget the pass. It was our big play in the pregame 2 weeks ago against Saskatchewan. Had they missed, they would not have been here winning a Vanier Cup. When Jason Assen hit Brett Campbell. Phenomenal play. And a heartbreaker for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Peter Cannellan looking a little soggy down there.
I don't think it's perspiration either, Rod.
No, let's have a look here why. Tradition. Can't say he didn't expect it with a score like this, but that was a pretty nice dunk.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's good.
He's a player you wait all year to do that to a coach too. That's one of the rewards of winning, don't you think?
I think so.
Well respected and well liked coach at the University of Calgary in his 13th year and about to get his 4th Vanier Cup. And that would make him the most successful head coach in terms of Vanier Cups in history. Brian Malashik to punt around the Calgary 47-yard line, and this will be very likely they can get it off the last play of this football game. Flag down on the field.
Now they'll take them 5 yards back, and now they'll kick it off. And Jay Bailey's return will be the end of it.
Time count violation. Calgary, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
It's the one time when it's okay to take a penalty late in a football game. 4 seconds to go. And Malashik won't even bother kicking it. The school that won more Vanier Cups in the 80s than any other has won its first of the 90s. Crowned the new champions of Canadian University football, the Calgary Dinos have won the 4th Vanier Cup in their history.
I'm going to get a word with you in a minute.
Played great, Peter. Really deserving, fabulous. The kids played great. Great game, great job. Outstanding job.
Jamie, this is your 7th Vanier Cup, covering it for TSN. You've been asked this before. I want to ask you it now. What's it like?
To win it or to cover it? To win it, there's no feeling like it in the world, Rod. To cover it, there's no feeling like it in the world. But
well,
you know, it's just such a great feeling of elation that you are the best university football team in the nation.
Let's head down now to that victorious Calgary sideline and Lee Pedersen.
How about that, head coach Peter Cannellan, your 4th Vanier Cup now. Are they all the same, or is this one, for some reason, a little different?
Well, they're all great, and this one is, the last one's always a little different.
I hear you. Did you, in your wildest dreams, think that you could come into this game and dominate Western up front like you did on both sides of the ball?
No, we didn't. I think Western has got a great team, and I guess it just wasn't their day.
A comment maybe on Don Blair, 4 touchdowns, a Vanier Cup record.
Well, Don did what we all thought he could do. He makes the outstanding play, and you can't cover him. And today that was shown again.
You know, I know you feel badly that Jason Assam couldn't finish the game, but Warren Goldie just shaking hands with the coach. But you must be thrilled with the way Sasha Blaskovich came off the bench and just performed beyond belief.
Well, I'm not surprised how he played because I've got great confidence in him, but I am very, very pleased for him. It was a great effort on his part.
You know, Peter, I covered your game last week against Ottawa and, of course, today, and I've never seen a team this focused. It seemed like every team had a job at hand, and nobody seemed to make any mistakes out there.
Well, I think it was about as good a game as we can play. I thought the defense just played tremendous. I thought the special teams were great. They covered downfield. They didn't let them get any run backs, and the offense made some big plays, and different players on offense made them that sometimes don't have that opportunity.
You know, Peter, there were a lot of big plays, but I really felt early in the game when Brian Malashik made that 50-yard field goal, it really got you off to a good start, maybe set the tone for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, that may have been the big one because Brian has struggled, and all the guys were hoping for him, and all the guys, you know, they knew he could kick the ball, and that one he did kick.
You're a terrific coach. Savor the victory.
Thank you.
Back up to Rod and Jamie.
Thanks, Leaf. Congratulations, Peter. All that's left is the presentation of the hardware, and with that, let's head down to Darren Detition. Darren.
And Rod, your timing couldn't be better. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to hand out the Vanier Cup to the 1995 champions, the Calgary Dinosaurs. We've got Liz Hoffman to my left. Liz is the president of the CIAU, and the award to the captains of the Dinosaurs. While the team takes its turns with the trophy, we now have another presentation to make. It's the National Championship banner. Mark Lowry, to my left, is the Executive Vice President of the CIAU. The banner, once again, to the Calgary Dinosaurs and their team captains. Jason, I know that this game was tough for you. You had to leave the football game, but the Calgary Dinosaurs were dominant today.
It was a great game today on both sides of the ball. The defense came up huge today. Special teams played a major role today. And the offense, I'd like to say Sasha Blaskovich, you played a hell of a game, boy. Way to go.
Did you think it would be this easy?
No. We expected a tough game from Western. Things went our way, and they weren't working well for them today.
Well, congratulations. We've got to take care of some more business. It's time now for the Ted Morris Trophy, which goes to the most valuable football player in today's contest. Jerry Starbank, to my left, from General Motors, is here to present the award. He had an outstanding football game today. He set a new standard for the Vanier Cup. 4 touchdowns in this contest. We need Don Blair to come up here, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Jerry Starbeck, if you can make the presentation.
Don, on behalf of Geo and the Chevrolet dealers across Canada, congratulations. You won not only the trophy, but a bursary from Geo. Just a culmination of a great season. Congratulations.
Did you know that you're the first Heck Crichton winner to win the Ted Morris MVP trophy?
No, I didn't know that.
You're setting all kinds of records. The 4 touchdowns are a record today.
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to Sasha Blaskovich. I mean, he came in under a lot of pressure and made 3 critical drives, and I think he gets a lot of credit today.
What about the pressure that was upon your shoulders? Everybody's talking about this may be the best receiver that the CIAU has ever produced. You had all the pressure on you, and you came through.
Well, I think I owe a lot to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for taking that pressure away. I mean, I woke up this morning and I was really nervous, but I think that I just have to believe in His will, and He took that upon me, and I thank Him for that.
We have another presentation. If Paul Brule could come up here from Johnston's, Canada. Paul has a ring.
Congratulations. On behalf of Johnston's, I'd just like to present you with this 10-carat championship ring. I'm sure it's symbolic of your achievements and something you'll probably treasure the rest of your life. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again. It's now time for the Bruce Coulter Trophy, which is presented to the MVP on the other side of the ball. The Calgary Dinosaurs had simply a fantastic game plan. They executed it. If we can get you up here, big guy. Rob Richards, if we also need to present this award, Bruce Coulter is here. Bruce, we'll let you handle the duties.
Thank you very much. Rob, it had a fantastic year, an outstanding year, and you did a great job in shutting down Western's potent offense today. Congratulations. Thanks.
I talked to you earlier this week, Rob, and you didn't seem to be the least bit nervous about this football game.
It's my last game. Why would I be nervous about it? Eh?
You know what? The confidence that you guys exuded, you guys set the standard right off the bat offensively and defensively, took Goldie and his group out of their game plan.
This defense has been trying to prove it something to everybody all year long, and this was the best way to do it. Hold a high-powered offense like Western at, what are you at, 24 points? That just shows that we can play.
You guys definitely played today, and you were a big part of it. We've also got a handout at this point in time. Bob Bishop is to your right there, the general manager of the Dairy Farms of Ontario, and he's got a ring for you.
Thank you. On behalf of the Dairy Farmers of Ontario, it gives me great pleasure to present you with the very first Milk Energy Bruce Coulter Award ring. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's time now for Liz Hoffman, once again from the CIAU, the president, to come up to hand out the gold and silver medals to the respective captains. I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to hang on to the Western medals and hand out the gold medals to the captains of the Calgary Dinosaur. Once again.
Well, there you are. They have to come up again.
Actually, you know what? The captains have got the trophy, and they're kind of skipping around the field and enjoying the revelry. We're going to take it up to John Wells, who is standing by. John?
Well, a very happy Calgary Dinosaur team celebrating with the 4th Vanier Cup that this team has won since 1983. There was little doubts, even by halftime, after Don Blair blocked a punt and carried it in for one more touchdown. It's a 30-point win for the Dinosaurs. More from Skydome in a moment. There you can see at the Vanier Cup the object of everyone's affections here at Skydome today. Don Blair carrying it. He is the most valuable player. The Dinosaurs win big, folks, by 30 points, 54-24 over the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. And you know you've got a pretty good football team when the backup quarterback can come off the bench in the first half and finish the afternoon tossing for almost 300 yards. He's with Lee Pedersen.
Boy, isn't that the truth, John? You know, Sasha, I know as the #2 quarterback, you always prepare like you're going to play in the game, but what was going through your mind? All of a sudden, Jason Assen's hurt. You're thrown into the ball game. What did you think?
Well, the first thing I thought about, every time Jason gets hurt, or it looks like he gets hurt, which is quite often when he gets hit, because it takes him a while to peel himself off the ground. Every time he gets hurt, first of all, I'm worried for Jason. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't know if it's bad or serious or it's not serious. So I'm usually, at the beginning of the season, I was ready to go in right away, but most of the time he'd peel himself up and come back in. And this time I thought he was going to do the same thing because he threw that touchdown pass. And then after that, they came and told me that, Sash, you're going in right now. Get ready. So threw a couple balls, went in there, and the first one broke for a touchdown.
Well, we're just going to have a look at that right now. I mean, that's not a bad way to start. Your first pass, and Jayusi breaks it all the way. Tell us about the play.
We just called a quick pass, expecting to get maybe 7-8 yards, maybe 10, and Tarek just broke it and went all the way.
Now 14-22, 288 yards, 3 touchdown passes. I mean, obviously, this has to be your most memorable moment in college football.
Yeah, it's a great place to do it. Great time to do it at the end of the year in the Vanier Cup, and I've just got tons of thanks to give to my own linemen. They gave me so much time today. It was beautiful.
Well, I tell you what, you better go out and buy those guys a dinner because they really played well in front of you. You know what's interesting? You know, Jason Assen's a 5th-year player. He is gone. But you talked about timing. Your timing couldn't have been better. You're coming back next year. I bet you wish training camp was next week.
No, I'm glad it's over with. I got a lot of homework to catch up on right now and hopefully get a part-time job.
I think you have to say your defense came up pretty big, too. Everybody talked about Sean Reed. Could they stop them? They did a pretty good job, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a great job on him. That opened up their other back, and he got a couple yards today as opposed to Sean getting those yards. And they did a great game getting those picks. Just gave us tons of room to work with.
You know, I talked to your head coach, Peter Cannellan, and I said, you know, I felt like Ryan Malarchuk's field goal right at the beginning of the game kind of set the tone for you. You get off to a rough start, but his field goal settled everybody down.
That was incredible. To get something like that, 50 yards, I think that's a Vanier Cup record. For him, that's great. For us, it's great. Pumped us right up.
I'll tell you what's great. There's the great stories in sports, and this was one of them this afternoon. Sasha, you had a terrific game, and best of luck next year.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go back to John Wells.
Off the bench to become a Vanier Cup hero. He's looking for work in Calgary just to get him through the rest of the school year. Maybe we can find Sasha a job. Again, it's Calgary. 54, Western 24, a 30-point win as Calgary celebrates with the Vanier Cup one more time.
Now it's time for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Jamie, Don Blair did some big things today, none bigger than this.
It wasn't for catching a pass, it was for blocking a punt when Calgary were up by 12 points. Blair comes in, blocks his Garrett McBride punt. Then he scoops up his own fumble, takes it into the end zone. That made the score 26-7.
And the Calgary Dinos never look back. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Apple Auto Glass. The pick of the crop from coast to coast. Well, I don't think that there's any question that was the turning point. And you talked about how special teams were going to be so important in that football game and the Vanier Cup ultimately going to Calgary.
And you know what I want to say? You know what? There's a football in that Vanier Cup. Later on tonight, there'll be no football in that Vanier Cup. There will be something else. A couple of different libations will be in there.
Yeah, I'm sure you know from experience, having won twice, the stats certainly bear out why Calgary won this game so easily by 30 points. Look at the offense for the Dinos.
And, you know, when you look at these stats here, you know, yards passing, of course, goes to Calgary, yards rushing to Western, but it's the turnovers that were the real difference in this game. 5 for Western, only 1 for Calgary. They played virtually error-free football. You play error-free football in a big game like this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win them.
It's great offense for Calgary, and as we saw, pretty good for Western as well. The trouble was Western, what they were given really by Calgary's defense was yardage up the middle on the ground, and that really wasn't too valuable to them in the second half.
Well, that's right. They took away Sean Reed, and that had to be Tony Fasano's game plan coming in here. He said, we'll take Sean Reed away, force him to try to beat us with somebody else. They weren't that concerned about Jason McGibbon, the fullback. Even though he racked up a lot of yardage, they did not want to give up the big, long run that Sean Reed was so capable of doing. Then they shut down their wide receivers as well, forcing Goldie to make some errant passes. They got some picks and turned them into points.
Last year we expected a close game and we got it, 50-40 Western in overtime. This year there was every reason to expect a very good close game and we didn't get it. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, I think first of all, people underestimated Calgary's defense. I mean, they came into this game, everybody thought, well, you know, they're giving up 29, 30 points per game, but they played pretty solid last week against Ottawa in the Churchill Bowl, and I think Western may have underestimated their team speed on defense because they certainly had it this afternoon.
A lot of records were broken in this Vanier Cup. We expected it, but it was all Calgary records. 7 touchdowns for the team, 4 touchdowns for Don Blair, longest field goal, and most points, 54 points. A very deserving win for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Now let's head back to John Wells.
Simply put, too much offense and too much heart for the Calgary Dinosaurs in this one today. The Dinosaurs are the Vanier Cup champions one more time. We'll have more from Skydome right after this. Happy times in the Dinosaur dressing room. Dan Jeremiah has a Vanier Cup ring to show the rest of the family when he gets back to Calgary. And simply put, the Mustangs ran out of miracles. Western's double Vanier was not meant to be. We shouldn't be surprised that Calgary was ready after the heartbreak here 2 years ago. Don Blair and Chris Lewis and the rest of the Dinosaurs remembered the field goal that wasn't in 1993 and wouldn't allow this game to come down to one final kick. So that's 4 Vaniers for Calgary since 1983. The Dinosaur dynasty very much alive. Hats off to a great coach, Peter Cannellan, and a great team, the University of Calgary Dinosaurs.
Hassel will pass and rolls to his right and looks in the end zone. It away. He's looking for Blair, and Blair makes the great catch at the 20-yard line. Double tight end right, and then run by Sean Reed. Got lots of room, still on his feet, driving down, touchdown, Mustangs. Has good time. He's got Blair. Blair makes the move. He's got a first down. Now he looks for the end zone, and he finds it.